It's very cold, and it does look like we're going to be looking at a little relief. If relief is warmer temperatures, and 30s by the weekend. I did get, a good friend made sure that I had yesterday a roof rake. That is what it's called, right? The roof rake?
Yeah, even though it looks like a shovel.
And we actually did some real damage. I mean, we did well, and if you will. But I'm talking, it's 3 feet of snow out there.
Yeah.
Easily. And in some areas, I guess less and more. But I will only say that the hardest part was actually getting out through like the backyard.
Yeah.
Because you're going up to your crotch when you're at least I am. Now a very tall person probably would not.
Yeah, I mean
that's a mental image though.
Imagine 3 feet of snow. And here's the problem too. There's a layer of ice underneath.
Yeah.
And you just feel like, okay, I'm okay on top of this, and then you go down.
Yep.
And now you're trying to make your way through and create a bit of a path. Holy moly.
Yeah, because you can't get up on top of it again.
Because you can't get up on top of it. And then the roof rake is really quite an amazing tool, but you got to get down through that layer of ice.
Especially from all that blowing snow.
It's not the blowing snow that caused it. It's the freezing rain that we got in that. Remember last Saturday or Sunday?
You probably have like 4 different layers of stuff.
There are layers. That's the problem.
You've got your shingles.
This is like it's kind of like the Earth's going down, way down deep into the core.
Yeah,
you're dealing with all the different sorts of layers.
I was desperately trying to remember all the layers until Earth's core, and I'm like, it's too early. I'm sorry, Mrs. Reynaldini, I failed. I failed you.
It was, it just is, it's a lot of work. But guess what? We made a big dent, put a big dent into it, and I'll do more today. But holy moly.
They're running the story on KTV this morning. Oh,
they are running the story. That's very nice. That's really cool. It's quite a story when you think about it.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Quite a story that Ryan Noble's put together. I heard from a ton of people around the country yesterday that who saw it. And I did a story a little more in depth on the whole topic. And one of the things that you will be surprised maybe to find out is that during these years, as you're watching all the competition, whether television, newspaper, radio, so the mediums are struggling.
Yeah.
However, radio's audience is continuing to grow. It is growing.
Yeah.
And but the immediacy, the mobility of it all, the fact that you can just turn the radio on and find out what school might be closed, or while you're mobile, is such a big deal, especially here, certainly, but in big cities when you're sitting in your car. Yeah, you can listen to a podcast or something, but if you want to hear exactly what's going on this very moment, you're listening to radio. But the story gets into all of the numbers and the details. It's well worth checking out. But this is really because the artists want, not the music companies, not the record companies, but they want the radio stations to pay to play their music.
Yeah, well, they should take
that up. What the hell is wrong with you?
They should take it up with the record companies, honestly, I think is the moral of that story.
That's my take on it. You should make more money, but your deal is with the record company.
But also, too, I mean, you got to look at the fact that the medium of radio has adapted in a lot of ways. I mean, the perfect example of that is our buddy Mello Testa, who repeatedly will take pictures of him enjoying himself down in Florida with YouTube.
I hear it all the time from people. I wish you were still on TV. We were on TV every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
you just
right
get your
now,
smart TV, big old screen, and
you even control it more. So just subscribe, like it, and it'll pop into your inbox. And man, are we getting some really wild snow pictures. Snowmageddon pictures. Today's the last day to get them in.
Oh, we're picking a winner?
And tomorrow morning we will pick a winner. Now, I'm going to lean, unless something spectacular comes in, it's going to be very hard to pick one. I don't know how we're going to do it. So in the rules, it does state if it gets too difficult to pick one, two things can happen. You can just take from the whole bunch and pick a winner, or take from the most impressive ones
and have people
and
vote?
then a random winner. Yeah. I would have people vote, but then it turns into I know more people than you know. And I got to tell you something. Ann sent in some photos that are darn impressive. Ann from Rome. They are pretty darn impressive. There is one picture I saw yesterday of the people. It looks like they live in a ranch home, and it looks like there's close to like a drift of 5 or 6 feet of snow in front of that came blowing in right in. So it's like a ranch, and then out front it has, what would you call this? So it has like a porch out front, but it's ground level.
Patio?
Well, stay with me.
Okay.
It may be that, but I'm really looking at the type of house, more like a ranch, but it looks
like
more
Cape
colonial, I guess. So it has the posts out front and maybe like a 4-foot walk all the way across the front of the house.
Okay.
So you'd come out, and then you could put a couple rocking chairs to the right or left, or just walk into your front yard. The snow had blown in. I'll show you the picture in a second. I'm going to try to put
I know
it up.
what you're talking about.
You know,
So it's basically it's a front porch of a house, but
it's ground level.
It's ground level.
So the snow came blowing in, and they had to dig themselves out of the door. And they created where the concrete was, they created their walkway. And you literally, it looks like you're in Howe Caverns, where you come out and you're faced with a wall. Perfectly, they did a nice job shoveling because it's perfectly cut down a wall of snow that's about 6 feet high.
Where the front porch posts are is the formulation for the wall.
The front porch posts along that is where the wall of snow is. It's
they've cut a little.
I'll tell you something. Claustrophobic, you. And here, I heard from somebody yesterday, somebody older, and this is why you got to be careful. They went outside, and they got stuck in the snow.
Oh no!
And because they were old, they could not get themselves turned around to be able to come back to so they had to get help. You got to be careful when you're going out there, unless you're
like in your vehicle, in
a person.
That's like what you went through when you were trying to rake your own roof.
Exactly. And I was able to what I did was immediately I lifted my rear legs and then dove and I swam back to the house. Yeah. My rear legs. I have rear legs, and it's a little different.
Legs?
It's an upstate New York thing. Megan, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know being a Connecticut.
No, I'm not part of the club.
Anyway,
I'm not a centaur.
Yeah, just be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful out there.
That's kind of what I did with it. I was telling you about that
you
property.
Think it's a big deal, but be careful. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
And okay, well, this is pretty solid ice under here. I started to shovel a path. So I'm shoveling a path of snow on top of what was old frozen snow until that one you get through and kind of sharp in your ankle and
it hurts.
Fall and
It's like it's so shocking when you break through too, because you don't expect it. One time, like you're
up there, you're feeling
up to 6
good.
feet, not 6 feet, 6 inches. Your boots are fine. Next thing you know,
it might be
boom.
6 feet.
Right down you go.
Oh, some people have 6 feet.
Depending on where. The other thing is I'm not an outdoor winter sports person. I don't do. I wait for. I cannot wait for springtime when it's nice and we can get out in the nice weather. I love it. And the last couple of years have not been really. I'm telling you, in the last 5 years, I really haven't had to use my boots. So yesterday I pulled them out. They're like those. They're shorter, not the big tall ones. And I put my foot in, and all of a sudden I heard some cracking. Crack, as I'm putting my foot in the boot. And the entire top of the boot came off. The plastic part, the rubber part turned to plastic. The whole thing came right off.
They heard about the winter we were having, and they said, nope, we're done.
I don't want any part of it. So new boots yesterday. Pretty excited
There you go.
about that.
There you go.
You got boots made for
now
mountain.
now the snow's gonna melt and we won't have snow again for 5 years.
Probably right. And maybe if that's what I caused,
Somebody-
you should all be.
I saw a post
thanking me.
somebody put that said something about I'm going to go buy a snowmobile now because it'll almost guarantee that we'll never get snow again.
It probably will. That's absolutely it. So, according to the National Weather Service, here are some of the storm totals, because yesterday we finally had a day where we it's cold, but we're getting a relief from the lake effect snow. Areas in Tug Hill, of course, Oswego County, buried by 75 inches of snow since Friday.
Wow.
This is on top of everything else that they have gotten. So they had about 40 inches on the ground in Palmero, and over the weekend they received about 75 inches of new snow.
That's incredible.
In Herkimer, Madison, Lewis, Oneida, Onondaga counties, because this was so local, one area a couple miles away from you may have gotten twice the amount of snow that you got.
Yeah.
So it is tough to keep track of all of that. But Herkimer, Madison, Lewis, Oneida, Onondaga, there are plenty of places that have totaled more than 2 feet of snow. And in this latest storm, and then you put that on top of everything else, there's a good chance you have 3 feet of snow on your rooftop.
The big question is going to be at what point we get that warm stretch of weather that rapidly thaws everything.
Well, let's hope this weekend.
I hope it's gradual.
Hope this weekend you're looking at 30 with a little sunshine. That'll help things melt just a little bit.
That's going to feel downright tropical.
It will feel tropical. It really will. So if you want some of these totals here, 75 inches in Palmero since Friday. In Oneida, Brewerton out on Oneida Lake, 52 inches since Friday. Sherrill, 38 inches, 35 inches in Boonville. Oneida, 29 inches. Westmoreland, 26 inches. Parts of New Hartford, 25 inches. What else do I see? Here's New Hartford with another one with 21.5 inches.
Is Floyd on there where I live?
Floyd, they are no longer considering Floyd a town. Davey,
It's been buried.
It's been buried.
It's no longer
it's all
in
gone.
existence.
They're just going to build on top of it.
I'm down today.
What are you near? Are you near? So Floyd,
Rome, Holland, Patton,
I'm looking for it. Yeah.
Westernville.
You guys have been hammered. Maybe
And not
I think you guys
not because they've been drinking either.
You guys have been hammered so much there that I think the people in Westernville, Rome, and Floyd said, I'm done measuring this stuff. I'm done.
We've been hammered since January 3rd, since the first snow.
You have. Think about this. Really it began to get cold just before Christmas, and we have not seen relief since.
No.
Is that why you're
there you
feeling
go.
down?
We did have a white Christmas, though, so that is something that we can be thankful for, right?
I'll tell you why I'm
humbug.
down.
That's how I feel.
It's because in a few weeks, I'm going to be 50.
You are.
Yes.
Like what
Oh
it
my
says on your hat.
Yes.
50.
So
You need to have a birthday.
I've been down
That's not
since,
a reason to be down.
Well, I've been down since Monday about it.
Don't worry about it.
I've read
it all goes downhill from there. You're going to be just terrible. Man threatened is you just got to come to terms with it. Just deal with it, Davey.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face and say there's nothing I can do.
It's a good thing.
Nothing I can do about it.
As Pitbull said, every day above ground is a good day.
The snow has everybody a bit frustrated in some areas. In Salina, out near in the Syracuse area, police had to be called because two neighbors got into a fight over where the snow was being plowed. You're plowing your snow, and it's coming on my property. And the owner who had the plow was like, well, you're just going to have to deal with it. And then apparently one of them is like, oh, I have to deal with it. And they went in the house and got their shotgun. And all of a sudden,
understandably.
One of the people told deputies he opened the window and he yelled because the guy was ruining his grass. You can't see your grass. Anything right
The
now.
grass will be fine.
Anything right now is not hurting your grass.
Yeah.
No.
But if you live next to a crazy neighbor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Are
you very sensitive as to where you throw your snow?
So the guy, I'm very careful, but we don't have that problem because we have plenty of space. One of the guy who was driving the truck got out and yelled that he was going to kill the neighbor. And then the neighbor came out with a gun and repeated that I'm going to kill you. And before you knew it, somebody had called police and the deputies arrived.
Oh, good.
And there were arrests that were made. A neighbor of Smith and Chase, who said Smith calls himself Plow Guy Pete, told deputies she heard Smith yelling that he would shoot someone. So she had no choice but to call police. See, we're getting frustrated. We're getting sick of this. It's now towards the end of February. Before you know it, it's going to be March, and we're thinking, boy, things are going to clear up, and it's going to take a while for us to get rid of the snow. So don't think anytime soon you're going to be out mowing your lawn.
No,
But
probably
the good
not.
thing is,
I think there should be a rule, though.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated and you're angry, the first rule you should repeat in your head is, please don't go inside and get my gun. Don't go inside and get my gun. Because that is going downhill from the moment you get your gun.
If you look at the film, if you look at the film The Shining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Wendy, they're in the hotel, they're snowed in, they get a little nutty, things get crazy, and
here
the winter,
comes Johnny.
the winter can have that effect on people.
All work
can.
and no play makes him a dull boy.
Yes. Deputies arrested one of them, the Smith guy, and charged him with criminal possession of a weapon and second-degree menacing, a misdemeanor, and that's how it all ended. And the other guy continued to plow. This is crazy.
It is.
But
it should be more like the Canadians, who, when there's a lot of snow, they go, "Oh, great, an additional refrigerator." And
that
they make
is,
their
well,
store
that's
their
something
beer, wine, and liquor.
Something I have to say we tried to do, and I do every year. It seems like around Christmas time, it's been cold enough where you could use, if you have like a screen room or something, or a garage that isn't heated, you can put things out. We tried, and it did not work for us this year because for some reason it did warm up a little bit right after Christmas, just a little, and everything spoiled, so it was not good.
You got to bring it in time, when you're.
Well, you hope it is remaining cold, and then when it doesn't, it is a problem. Jeff on the snow, is that what we're talking with, Davey? On line number 1 here. Hi, Jeff. Good morning.
How you doing, guys?
Good. You're on the radio.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to make a quick comment on all the plow guys, the state workers, all those guys.
Yes.
Even the private plow guys. I heard a comment the other day. I was in a local convenience store near my home and saying they need to get out there and do their jobs. Well, that's just the opposite. Those guys are working 14-hour days.
Yep. I completely agree.
I'm going to tell you right now, my plow guy has been to my house probably every 2 days since the start of the new year.
At least.
At
and
least.
sometimes twice a day.
Yeah. So, and they can't be everywhere. Jeff. And, I've heard people I've also heard people complain saying, "Oh God, can you believe it? My plow guy had a mechanical issue." Well, yeah, when the truck is running 12 hours a day.
Right. And here's the other thing, Jeff. If you're one of those private plow people, because I think there's one woman out there, Jeff, just for the record. I think there's one plow woman.
At least. I
got to tell you, they're getting screwed this year.
Yeah,
they're losing. There's no way, if you're charging $400, $500, $600 for a season, there's no way you're making money this year.
No way.
You're in the hole. So now Jeff, to be fair, they've gotten away with a few years where it's been pretty easy, but this has been horrible.
But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if the
Jeff, thank you.
Out.
Good point.
Oh, thank you, guys.
All right. And I just want to say a little more about Jeff, because I know some people that plowed for the state, and they could never depend on. They could never depend on, we're going to be doing this tonight, because it seems like they're always on call.
Yeah, you have no plans. You have no plans that you can stick to.
If you get a snow out of nowhere, and they gotta get out, and their plans are ruined. So, but listen, that's the job. But this year they are working their tails off, and I completely agree.
God bless
but
them.
They've got a nice shiny new green light to make it feel just a little more festive, I guess, as they're out there driving.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interesting. Yeah, there's like green and red and yellow.
It does catch your attention. Speaking of catching your attention, Andrew will attempt to do that when he gives you the news. Coming right up, along with the full forecast, which does have some improvement on the way, coming up at WIBX.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
I also did a story you can check out on our website at WIBX950.com. And it's all about...
The Benjamins.
No, it's all about spiders and bugs and snakes that land in your banana display.
Oh, God.
And if you're a produce place, no, Wayne completely gave it to us yesterday. He's absolutely right. And then I had someone else. I don't know if she wants her name mentioned, so I didn't mention it. She had a close friend who brought home, this is right in the story, check your produce before you bring anything home.
Yeah.
She brought home a what do they call it? A hand of bananas or a bunch?
Yeah.
Bananas are called a bunch.
Yeah, they are.
Or a hand. I think it's a hand, and then one banana is a finger.
Okay.
I never knew this. I learned it yesterday.
You're making that up.
Or AI's messing with me. Could be that.
Sounds plausible to me.
Could be that. So she brought home a bunch of bananas,
Yeah.
and there was a tarantula.
That is
Now
literally
you're looking right now.
Score, free pet.
You're looking right now as if I'm lying. This happened here,
Really?
and it got away in their house, and it took them a couple of days to catch it. And they finally caught it.
A tarantula?
A tarantula. Now, a tarantula will not. If a tarantula bites you, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Kind of like a bee sting.
Isn't it
It's
also
not going to kill you.
poisonous?
No, it's not going to kill you. I think they're mildly venomous.
I'll tell you right now.
But the black widow.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you'll be dead, yeah.
No, you won't.
You'll be hurting.
You're going to be hurting, and you could go through
You'll go through
you could
complications
go through
and
some
then you'll die.
complications that you shouldn't die. You shouldn't die. It's rare for someone to die.
I'm saying this because you want to just, at this point, don't even buy bananas. That's kind of my where I'm at.
What I do.
You open up the peel, and there's like a whole. Hear the story about the whole banana you peel, and then the like 800 of them come out.
Well, I've never seen.
You know
that
how many
before.
people are sitting down and about to eat their banana for breakfast,
well,
and they're
don't.
listening to you
Throw it
guys?
Throw it
out that
because you
banana.
know what? If there's not a spider on it, there probably was. And there
Yeah.
were probably hundreds on it.
Well, I'm sure at some
Crawling
point.
around.
I'm sure at some point there was.
You know, some crazy people have tarantula as a pet.
That is
They
true.
have it in a glass case in an aquarium, and they.
I think you're sitting next to one of those.
You have one?
No, I had friends who had tarantulas.
Yeah, sick.
Here's Kathy in Rome. Anyway, the story is up there, and it's all true, and it's all comes from the fact it is true, and it comes from the fact that there was a story this week. It all comes from the story in New Hampshire where a poisonous snake was found in a basket in one of those boxes of bananas. So, yeah, it can happen. What are you going to do, though? Here's Kathy in Rome. Hello, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning. I have to tell you, I think this winter, the city has done the most fantastic job coming through Bell Broadway and the side streets. In 30 years, I have never seen it so well kept. I tell you, whoever's running DPW, they remember where all our streets are because we're in great shape.
Well, that's great. Good that they remember. You have to remember where the streets are when it snows that much. Listen, that's great news. And I think that everybody seems to be saying the same thing. You're going to get your average complainer out there that's like, like the other day, it snowed like 3 until 7 a.m., and people were mad because their side streets weren't plowed. Well, guess what? It's going to take them a while. They got to get the main roads first, and then they'll get to your street. But it's going to take a while.
They who come through Bell Broadway and the side streets, all our side streets were named after poets. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
And they are fantastic coming through with the plows. So I am very pleased. I have to say in 30 years, I think this is the first year I can say they've done a superb job. And I'm one of them naysayers over the last 30 years that they off and on had done a crappy job. But whoever's running DPW, I'm glad they like our area.
Well, that's awesome. Great story this morning. Thank you, Kathy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
I have to say a lot of, anybody working in that role of DPW, the rank and file to right on up to commissioner, they God bless them. It's a hard job, and it's one that, as you said, Bill, has a very great level of unpredictability.
Well, you never know when you're going to be working, right? You never know when you're going to get hammered. Yes, I think today I'm going to Herb Phillipson's, and I'm going to get...
Too soon, Bill.
Today I'm going to go to All Season Out.
Too soon.
Rip.
I need snowshoes. Where am I going to go to get snowshoes?
You can go to Utica Zoo, and they'll rent them for you, and you can walk
do
around.
that? I don't want to rent them.
Yeah.
I'll just rent them and keep them.
Yeah, but I don't think you actually now you can't leave the zoo property. So
just like Blockbuster.
We'll call the Bootmobile from LLB and we'll have them do a fitting for you.
I imagine you probably could buy them online, or does
Amazon,
Dick's sell?
I don't think so. But like,
but I'm going
maybe,
to tell you, you need them. Like to get into, I have a very large backyard.
Yeah.
And I began walking into it yesterday. I got about 8 steps in, and I'm like, I'm going to get all the way up there, and I'm not doing it. So I ended up, I'll get snowshoes. I've never had snowshoes in my life, but I think in order to get back there, I'm going to have to get it.
They are pretty fascinating how they work and everything.
Well, you know what I did? I may sound really stupid to everybody else, but in my garage, sometimes somebody, you know those, I hate them. They're the closet doors that fold.
Yeah. Oh,
they get off their track. And so whenever we move into a new house, we tear them down and put real doors on.
Yeah.
Anyway, those panels, they're doors.
You
they're
can
hollow.
use them. Yeah.
I use them as like shelving in the basement. You get the brackets, you put it up, you have the nice little shelves.
That's a good idea.
But I had one left over, which I took out with me in the very terrifying backyard. And so as I'm trying to rake off the roof,
Yep.
I keep going down deeper into the snow, and you know I don't have great boots, so it's freezing cold. So I got a door and just set the door on top of the snow, and I stood on top of the door.
You rolled out the red carpet.
It worked perfectly. The door was a little hard to carry out there, but
very mindful, very dormier.
Thank you. Well, I'm resourceful.
You could get tennis rackets, some old tennis racket. You don't need snowshoes. You just get some tennis rackets.
Some tennis rackets.
Strap them around
well, I'm
your
not
boots
that resourceful, I don't think. Mike, this morning, it feels like these are older artists that are trying to gnaw whatever meat that is left on the bone. This is the tale as old as time. It's similar to what happened to TV people who negotiated a contract, little realizing, this is an older topic, negotiating a contract, little realizing that there would be residuals for syndication. We're talking about the music artists. Surprise, surprise, it's recording/network corporations that make all the money, and that is absolutely true. So what are you going after radio for? I find it just ridiculous. Do you have a $2 bill at home?
I don't. No.
I do.
I think, especially if there are parents, grandparents that would always buy a fresh $2 bill, and you would be putting it away for the baby to save when they. So in 1976, it came back. The $2 bill came back in 1976. Right now, they're saying that some of those $2 bills could be worth a lot of money. And there's a place that you can go. I'll give you the website address. It's uscurrencyauctions.com. It will tell you what your $2 bill is worth, and there are different variations depending on the year it was printed. It depends on the serial number. In some cases, the 1976 $2 bill, when it first came out, has a value to it up to $4,500 in some cases.
Wow.
Depending on markings that are on it, depending on the serial number. And then there are even some that were printed in the last 10 or 15 years that have little glitches. Those could be worth over $20,000.
That's like we need to get John the Record Guy to have Mighty John to be a whole new division of moneymusic.com.
Very well could be. I'm not sure about 20,000. I might have exaggerated a little bit there. Sorry.
You know how many people are running to their cupboards and.
But listen to this. For example, a $2 Federal Reserve Star Note printed in 2003 with a low single-digit serial number just sold for $2,400 at an auction, and then 2 weeks later sold for $4,000. Cost him $2.
Yeah, or it cost somebody else $2. Probably was a gift.
Yeah. And then did you know that between 1862 and 1890, there were $2 bills? So if you have any of those really old $2 bills, they could be worth a lot of money. And then here's the one on the bicentennial. From 1976, which is, I believe, the ones that we got. I think it was what I got for my grandparents for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it came in an envelope, and it had a little oval hole in it so you could see whichever president.
Thomas Jefferson was
Is it
on
Jefferson on
yeah.
the $2 bill? Mm-hmm. Some $2 bills printed for America's 200th anniversary feature special serial numbers, misprints, stamps, or other star notes that can make them worth up to, are you ready? Up to $900. That's
All
pretty
right.
good, though.
Yeah.
For $2,
bill.
that's a great investment.
And again, you go to that website, or PennLive.com is another place where you can go to maybe find that 1943 D Lincoln bronze wheat penny that's worth up to $2.3 million.
They do have, I keep seeing ads now on my social media feed. They have an app where you can scan a coin, right? You can scan the quarter.
You can scan it.
It'll depend on what the year is and,
Yeah.
you know, at what point it was made. Then that'll show a value of what it might be worth.
Okay, and that is much of what's going on here this morning. How about this story, the secret to reheating pizza?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
This
some
is
people
a
would
hack.
say don't.
This is a hack. They say you dip it in water first, and then
No,
I wouldn't follow
it's
that.
disgusting.
You got to use your broiler or a toaster oven.
That's about as disgusting as spiders all over your banana.
Don't use the microwave. 2 small airplanes yesterday collided again. What is going on? Again, I had my wife last night. We had a conversation about, is this like the sharks, where there aren't really any more shark attacks? It's
but
just
these
we're reporting them. No, I think we report every plane crash.
You would,
right?
yes.
This is not a...
It's not like there's unconfirmed, unreported plane crashes happening across the country.
2 small airplanes in Arizona leaving 2 dead. It happened in an uncontrolled field. That means it's like maybe there's an airport in Frankfurt, outside Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And that's an uncontrolled field, meaning there's not an air controller.
It's two
air traffic
individuals that have their own private planes.
Yeah, you have to regulate on your own. Here's Captain John Cox, who is talking about what happened when these 2 planes crashed in. I believe one landed, the other one crash landed, and people died. Here we go.
Small airplanes go in and out of uncontrolled fields frequently. They depend on radio positions to tell each other where the airplanes are, and also visually to watch out for other airplanes. Similar to driving a car, you look outside to make sure you don't hit anything.
Speaking of the airplanes crashing, and that plane that came down and flipped, everybody got off the plane safely.
Yeah.
In Toronto. Why is it that no one is talking about the fact that it looked like the wheels collapsed? Not that the wing got hit first. It almost looks like the right
because there would have had to have been a reason for the plane to flip.
More about that. I don't know why they're not talking about it, but we'll get into it. Free money question coming up next hour as well.
This is Anthony Constantino, CEO of Sticker Mule. I'm a proud Trump supporter, running for Congress for the seat being vacated by Elise Stefanik. I built a successful internet company with nearly 1,000 people in upstate New York. However, much of upstate New York suffers from lack of access to high-speed internet that's necessary to build great companies and enable high-paying remote jobs. In fact, much of our district lacks access to strong, dependable cell phone service too. Of course, we must have both for public safety and to grow the economy. When elected to Congress, I will work quickly with President Trump to fix this problem. With high-speed internet, dependable cell service, and by renewing President Trump's tax cuts, both for businesses and individuals, we will create jobs and return economic prosperity to upstate New York. Follow me, Anthony Constantino, on Facebook today to learn more about my plans to make New York great again. I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
At Steve Ponte Chevy in Herkimer, we'd like to thank our first responders, active military, and veterans,
as well as healthcare employees and education employees.
Not only is Chevrolet offering $500 in savings towards the purchase of your new Chevy, but Steve Ponte Chevy is going to match that with an additional $500 for a total of $1,000 in savings as our thank you to you.
So together, let's drive and see why our customers always say it's so easy to do business with Steve Ponte Chevy on Route 28 in Herkimer.
Customer must qualify for educator, military, veterans, first responder, and healthcare discount. Must take delivery by February 28, 2025. See salesperson for details.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Purple, and Puffy. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome. W2 WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Hamas hands over more hostages. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And there were cheers in the crowd in Gaza as Hamas handed over to the Red Cross 4 coffins to be given to Israel containing the bodies of hostages the militants claim were killed in an Israeli airstrikes, including a mother and her 2 young children.
It comes more than 500 days after the horrific attack in Israel on October 7th, 2023. The official identification process of the 4 slain Israelis is expected to take several hours. On Saturday, Hamas is expected to release 6 living hostages.
That's Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. President Trump may meet with Russia's leader Vladimir Putin later this month, days after U.S. talks with Russia to end the war in Ukraine that Ukraine was not invited to. President Volodymyr Zelensky objected to that. President Trump calls him a dictator.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break.
And though Russia invaded Ukraine, the president has suggested, like Putin, that Ukraine started it. Zelensky says President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space. The FBI may get a new director today. The Senate expected to confirm Kash Patel, who Democrats oppose, but Republicans can outvote them. And in the Trump administration push to slash federal spending considered waste, fraud, or abuse, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, just told Fox.
And we will cut $4 million in DEI-focused contracts. This is money that should go to serve the American people.
And more layoffs are coming, targeting probationary federal employees recently hired. Multiple reports have the IRS ready to cut 6,000 jobs. And Fox's Brooke Singman reports
President Trump is on board with the idea of sending out dividend checks to taxpayers using the money DOJ has saved.
By going after the waste, fraud, and abuse and all of the other things that are happening, I think it's a great idea.
One idea is to send $5,000 checks to us. America's listening to Fox News.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Now, the day before this vote that could confirm Kash Patel as the next FBI director, another Trump nominee had her confirmation hearing at the Senate. The president's picked to be labor secretary.
Republican concerns about former Oregon GOP Congresswoman Lori Chavez-DeRemer may have been calmed early on when Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul confirmed she did not support an aspect of a pro-union rule that could overturn some states' right-to-work laws.
No more questions.
Thank you, Senator. But Democrats like Colorado Senator John Hickenlooper had a number of concerns about union rights.
Isn't the country better off with more working people getting paid better wages? And really, the only way that generally happens is through union representation.
Well, again, supportive of both sides of the table is going to be important. If an employee chooses that they want to be in a union, or they have the right to do so. And the same if they choose not to.
Separately, senators confirmed Kelly Loeffler as small business administrator. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
There is word from the Vatican today that Pope Francis has shown slight improvement. He's hospitalized in Rome with pneumonia. There's been another plane crash, 2 small ones, actually. They flew into each other in Arizona, weeks after the much bigger collision between an Army helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet near Washington, D.C. that killed all 67 people on both. In yesterday's crash, 2 people died, 2 survived.
Marana police responding to the Marana Regional Airport about 20 miles northwest of Tucson, revealing 2 small fixed-wing single-engine planes collided midair. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Last week in Arizona, a pilot was killed at Scottsdale Airport after a private jet veered off the runway and collided with another jet that was parked. Aviation safety remains in the spotlight after a number of recent fatal aviation incidents in North America, the most recent involving a Delta jet that flipped on its roof while landing in Toronto. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down the day after gains lifted the S&P 500 to a record high. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. It is a cold start to the day. We're at 0 under clear skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Some of the Marcy Correctional Facility employees accused of being involved in the beating death of an inmate are expected to be in court today. The individuals are scheduled to be arraigned after Robert Brooks Jr. was punched and kicked while he was at the prison's infirmary in December. Brooks was taken to a nearby hospital but later passed away, and his death was ruled a homicide. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick is the special prosecutor in the case after the state AG's office recused itself. There's a brand new development in the ongoing battle to see who will pay to finish construction of an aquarium in Syracuse. The Onondaga County Legislature says it will be up to County Executive Ryan McMahon to get any remaining funds from private donors. The legislature authorized $85 million towards the project back in 2022, but its chairman says taxpayers won't pay any more than they already have. The aquarium is scheduled to open in 2026. A Utica resident was arrested following an investigation into prison contraband at the Oneida County Correctional Facility. As reported by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to a complaint about contraband on February 17th at the correctional facility. 40-year-old Brent Mowry was arrested yesterday and faces charges of promoting prison contraband, which is a felony. Mowry is currently incarcerated at the Oneida County Correctional Facility awaiting arraignment. A pickup truck reportedly overturned on Route 840 in New Hartford yesterday. An ambulance was dispatched to the location. Traffic was redirected to the arterial for a short period of time as the roadway was blocked. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. And a Florida beach is being called one of the best of the best. TripAdvisor ranked Siesta Beach in Siesta Key as the number 1 beach in the U.S. and number 4 in the world. Only beaches in Greece, Thailand, and Aruba were ranked higher. The White Sand Beach on Sarasota County's Gulf Coast ranked 9th in the world last year, up from 11 in 2023. Every year, the travel website ranks the best beaches around the world based on reviews and ratings from its users. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:08. Here's your forecast.
Bitter cold start to our Thursday and even a few snow showers and flurries this afternoon. Not looking for much in the way of accumulation. And after our frigid start, we'll get up to 20 later. Still below normal, but a little bit better with that breeze backing off. High single digits to low teens tonight. Maybe some snow showers. Friday, snow showers around upper teens. A little bit better as we go near 30 over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
We're at a goose egg here in Marcy under clear skies. It is 7:08. Sports. The NFL spreading the wealth. The league informed its teams Wednesday that the per-team salary cap for 2025 will be between $277.5 million and $281.5 million. The final figure will be determined following further negotiations with the NFL Players Association. This year's increase means the cap will have grown by at least $53 million over the past 2 years. The cap is calculated annually based on a collectively bargained formula tied to league revenues, which have grown due to new media rights deals. The new league year, along with free agency, begins on March 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Giants went 3-14 and have the 3rd overall pick in the 2025 draft. The Jets went 5-12 and will be picking 7th overall. The Knicks appear to be getting healthier. For the first time this season, center Mitchell Robinson was a full practice participant. Robinson was cleared for and resumed 5-on-5 scrimmaging on Wednesday. Forward OG Anunoby also made it through the entire session. Robinson has already been listed as out for tonight's game, and Anunoby is questionable. New York is second in the Atlantic Division at 36-18, and the host the Bulls at Madison Square Garden. Nets forward Bojan Bogdanovic is undergoing season-ending foot surgery. According to ESPN, the team plans to waive Bogdanovic and is finalizing a 10-day contract with former number 7 overall pick Killian Hayes. Bogdanovic is in the final season of a 2-year, $39 million deal he signed with the Detroit Pistons in 2022. Brooklyn is tied for third in the Atlantic Division at 20-34. They'll host the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight at Barclays Center. That Atlantic Division, talk about separation. The Nets are third at 20-34, while the Knicks are in second place at 36-18. The winner of the inaugural Four Nations Face-Off will be decided tonight. Team USA is taking on Team Canada in the championship game from TD Garden in Boston. Devils defenseman Brett Pesce has been added to the U.S. roster as an injury replacement. The NHL returns to action on Saturday. One of the Yankees' top pitching prospects is dealing with another setback. Right-hander Chase Hampton, who was dealing with injury last year, has a flexor strain for the second straight spring. The 23-year-old missed most of last season with a right flexor strain and a groin injury. New York begins Grapefruit League play tomorrow afternoon when they host the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. And the Mets could be seeing a familiar face make his way back to the team. According to an online Sports Illustrated article, Jose Quintana is very interested in a reunion with the Mets and would love to come back. He spent the last 2 seasons with the Mets after agreeing to a $22 million contract in December of 2022.
If I remember correctly, he had a better second half. Remember the Mets were on their skid. He had several losses, but I think he had a better second half of the season.
Well, he went 10-10 last year.
Correct. I think he had a better second half of the season.
Yeah.
The point is, I think most of his losses came early on. He became hot towards the end of the season. With your little smile there.
I didn't say it. I'm just telling you what the
Johnny
stats
Strowman, good luck over there.
I know. God.
Give me a freaking break.
God,
These Yankees
the
fans. I'm going to tell you something, Megan.
I'm reporting the story.
Yankees fans. No,
it's
that smart-ass look on your face.
You're looking for a debate on this.
There's no debate. There isn't a debate. What do you debate?
You're going to be under 500 most of the season.
You could be right. I'm a Mets fan.
We could too.
What else could I say? I mean, you certainly have a far more storied history as the New York Yankees. But, I'm just saying. There was a time when the Mets were dead last in spending.
Yeah.
That's not the case
And that's
anymore.
when they won.
Now we're dead
80s.
second. We're dead second. That is not true. They spent money in the 80s. But remember, Keith Hernandez didn't come for free. Gary Carter didn't come for free.
No, that's true.
So, some of those players, like a Dwight Gooden, made his way up through the farm system. Do we want to really do this? Do we really want to do this?
Well, we
I'm going
could.
to tell you something. I'm going to call
because
you.
that 96, 98, 99 team, that wasn't bought.
In September.
That was all farm club people.
When?
In 96, 98, 99,
yes.
Brocious, Martinez, Knobloch, all those guys.
That's exciting.
Posada,
really nice.
Jeter, all came up through the farm system.
Blah. Whatever. How you doing on that right now? Think about it.
Yeah, well, I know.
Okay.
You're wrong on Scott Brocious.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an exception.
He just throws crap out there, Dave. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Scott Brocious was signed from the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
He wasn't a farm of the Yankees.
You know what I find?
Okay, so the other ones then.
I find
Yes.
one little lie in the middle of a little truth. Isn't that the way politics goes today?
No.
Speaking of the Mets, though, they're still paying Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah. But guess what?
Not for
Do
him.
you think Cohen cares?
No.
No.
I'm all good, yeah.
Wonder if we could get anything
Sports
else?
Sports is done,
That's
yeah.
good.
Sports
You're all done. Sports is done.
Oh, hold on. I want to get
Syracuse
to
plays next week. They're not playing until next week. They're horrific.
The Mets will open their Grapefruit League play Saturday when they host the Astros in Port St. Lucie.
Okay, there's a guy named Paul Dayton. He wrote a book. It's a book.
It's an encyclopedia.
It's like an old-fashioned telephone book in a big
look
city.
like that.
There's a lot here. Paul Dayton is going to talk to us about the truth regarding socialism. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm glad.
Paul, I wonder if he's on Social Security. The truth about socialism.
Good question.
We'll speak with
I think
Paul.
he's 147 years old.
We'll speak with Paul Dayton coming up in a second. Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers we're going to do tomorrow. not today. Hobica's free money question of the day this morning. Davey, the amount of money we're looking at this morning is
50 cents.
Is
$225.
$2.25. Okay.
You're in a little better mood now.
$225 on the line. We'll get to all that coming up this hour. Stand by. We'll speak with Mr. Dayton coming up at WIBX.
The big Spring New York State RV Show is back at the State Fairgrounds February 27th through March 2nd. It's the ultimate RV shopping experience with over 400 models and 100 different brands to choose from. And with 9 dealers competing for your business, it's the place to buy. Whether you're looking for a travel trailer, motorhome, or fifth wheel, you'll find it at the Spring New York State RV Show. Get your tickets at nysrvshow.com. Sponsored by the New York State RV Dealers Association of Syracuse.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? It looks amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com, new, NORDICUSA.com, or CVS.
Think you know history? Think again. Journey through time and explore rare, one-of-a-kind artifacts that span from the Revolutionary War to present day. Don't just read about history. Experience it at Sticks and Stones Museum in West Winfield. Open Sunday 10 to 3.
The snow isn't stopping anytime soon, and that means you're taking your car to get washed over and over again to get all that salt off. But how would you like $100 in free car washes? It's WIBX's Snowmageddon 2025 contest. All you need to do is send us your snow photos on the WIBX mobile app, and the person who sends in the best one wins $100 in free car washes. We want to see photos of your snowbanks, drifts, snowmen, whatever shows off your crazy snow totals. And it could win you $100 in Hoffman's car washes. Winner will be picked Friday on Keeler. See the WIBX website for details.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Here's a story and a half. You talk about, and I understand jealousy, a man who's upset that his woman is maybe cheating. A Michigan man is accused of driving 700 miles all the way to Pennsylvania to light a house on fire where a man who was talking with his ex-girlfriend lives.
So this man is talking to this man's ex-girlfriend?
Correct. So the man and the woman, the man in Michigan and his girlfriend have split up.
Okay.
But he finds out, probably because he has all of her passwords and stuff.
Yeah. Or he's stalking her.
Stalking her, right.
Yeah.
He has her password so he can log in to see what she's doing, who she's talking to. Anyway, he knew. He drove 700 miles. Now, remember, they aren't dating anymore. But she's now trying to move on with somebody else. So he drove 700 miles to Pennsylvania to light a house on fire where the man was talking with his girlfriend, lives. Luckily, all 6 people in the home survived, and the man, Harrison Jones, was arrested. Here is police talking about this very determined crazy man.
This is a family's worst nightmare, to be asleep in their home, not knowing that a stranger broke into their home and attempted to take their lives by setting their home on fire.
Smoke is seen coming from the rear of the property and an explosion of fire. He drove over 730 miles, 11 hours, to do what he did, and then drove directly back home.
Yeah, nut job.
A crazy person.
And remember, the guy is dating his ex-girlfriend. It's crazy. Let me go to the line right now. Paul Dayton is an author who has written a book on socialism, and it's quite an extensive look into socialism, and it talks about how giving to everyone takes from all. I feel like this is Animal Farm Part 2, but really extensive. Here is Paul Dayton. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Pleasure to be on with you. I heard you talking before the break about Social Security. And,
yes.
Social Security is a prime example of sort of the message that I'm relaying in that book. And you're right. I call it a coffee table book without any pictures. It's a big, thick book, but it covers 4,000 years.
It is an extent. This is a book. Let me tell you something. If you wanted to kill somebody with a book, you want Paul's book.
Or a spider that comes out of your bunch of bananas.
Right. It will. You won't even see the remnants of the spider if you hit it with this book.
It's called, by the way, Socialism: The Gift That Keeps on Taking.
The Gift That Keeps on Taking. Paul, could you do me a favor? And it sounds like you're on a speakerphone, and I'm really struggling with that. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I'm taking you off the speaker now. Is this better?
That is much better.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about, give us, I don't know that you can do this in a nutshell, but please give it a try. Your book, and again, the title is
The Gift That Keeps on Taking, Socialism.
That Keeps on Taking. Talk about that, could you?
Yes, sure. So this is the nutshell of the book. There's only one class who benefits from supposedly populist redistributionist political policies. And that is the political class. If there's a permanent political class, they're the only ones who benefit. So when you're trying to take from one or give privileges from one person at the expense of another, it seems like you're benefiting, let's say ICC, the Interstate Commerce Commission in the USA. The railroads were around. There was people were complaining about rates. They didn't understand why if you went from New York to Philadelphia, it was cheaper than to go from New York to Utica. Well, the plain answer was it's because tons of people go from New York to Philadelphia and very few people go from New York to Utica.
Right.
The commerce dictates that. So they're going, they said, well, how come I'm going so much further and it costs so much less? And so what they did was they caved in and they made this ICC, the Interstate Commerce Commission, a regulatory board. And what happened? It fell right into the hands of the people who ran the railroads. As soon as they got that, these politicians and crusaders got their headline, they got their ribbon-cutting ceremony, they got the legislation passed, and then they disappear. They move on to their next crusade. It's out of the news cycle, and who takes it over? The people familiar with it. The railroad heads went in, and they fixed rates at higher prices. So the railroads were privately colluding. There has never been a monopoly in the history of the world that has ever existed without the help of government. So the railroads had gone for years and tried to collude to have high rates, but it always got broken up because one would go behind the back of the others and cut rates so that they could make more money. The consumer benefited. When the ICC came in, it codified into law this monopoly, and all rates were elevated. And that is one example of it's the gift that keeps on taking. It gives to the political class only if the voters are not hip to the fact that what is called medicine is in fact poison.
So would you suggest there be no Social Security?
Yeah, so Social Security is a great example. The New Deal, which I call the great failure of socialism, and I cover more in my first book, which I do cover some in this book, is Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, and it has been from the beginning. Frank Roosevelt, who failed at everything he ever tried in his pathetic life until he actually got elected to office. It was the only thing he ever succeeded at.
Yes.
He had, he sounds a lot like a president from my lifetime. He was born into a wealthy family. He pissed away he messed up everything he ever got handed to him. He had a famous relative who was president about 2 decades before, and the only thing he ever succeeded at was being elected to office.
Well, why did we keep electing him? Because I think he served like 4 terms.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
And then
he was elected 4 times.
Yeah,
that's correct. So what happened was, first of all, what happened with the New Deal, the 2 most cancerous legacies are, number 1, the creation of federally dependent special interest groups, and number 2, the conversion of the Treasury into a perpetual campaign fund for politicians. The New Deal was the start of you can't beat Santa Claus. So what he was doing, what the New Dealers were doing, was they were more or less holding people hostage with their own money. There's a great failure of government. Just in a nutshell, the Federal Reserve began in 1913, but didn't really start to do anything until the 1920s. Its first major challenge was basically what happened in the late 20s. The government centralized the money supply and made it so that the quantity of money went down by 33%. So there's a major shortage of cash because of government. And then the New Dealers go in and they tax the dickens out of everybody. And so the problem is people don't have enough cash. So what does government do? They tax everybody more, take away their cash as the solution.
Do you like when you think about let's go back to Roosevelt. Really, Roosevelt and part of that New Deal and really put many Americans back to work. And many say, and maybe it was World War II, but many say that the combination of going to war and upping production and his New Deal and all of that played a major role of us coming out of the Depression. Or do you give the war full credit for that?
Well, listen, the evidence dictates that these are not opinions. I have almost no opinions, believe it or not.
Okay.
The way I state things is a little colorful, but it's just banality. I mean, there was persistent 15 to 20% unemployment in the United States for a decade under the New Deal. It never got better. After 5 years of the New Deal in 1938, after 5 years of the New Deal, unemployment in the United States was 20%, when the world average amongst the League of Nations countries was 11%. That is, the United States was twice as bad as the international average. The number 1 economy in the world after 5 years of the New Deal, after Roosevelt's tyranny. You had this guy in office. We're on the gold standard. He's picking the price of gold out of a hat. He's setting it at $7 because the number 7 is lucky. He literally flipped a coin one day. Flipped a coin to decide the price of gold for the day. And this guy's told he's doing anything he wants. They're taxing everybody. They say they're helping the regular man. They taxed movie tickets. They taxed liquor. They taxed everything he used. Yeah. And then they basically made everybody dependent of the government.
Can I ask you, by the way, this is Paul Dayton, and he has written a very extensive book. It's got to be, what would you say? I
can't believe what it probably costs to ship that thing.
It's like a textbook, to be honest with you, Paul, to be used in our socialism.
The gift that keeps on taking.
Education system. Yeah. But socialism, the gift that keeps on taking. Give us examples of current. I mean, we are not a socialist nation. However, we have several socialist programs that are utilized in the United States, maybe healthcare, even the fact that we all put our money together and our tax to be able to make sure our roads get plowed is really socialism. So give us examples of programs that one might think is a good program and you feel it is bad, and give us the proof why it's bad.
Absolutely. So, my website, by the way, is pauldayton.us, where people can check out my first book, too. I got free snippets of both books,
.us. Paul Dayton, DAYTON.us.
As in United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right. And I'm a proud American. I love this country, but sometimes I'm not so proud to be an American because of some of the things, like most people, because of some of the things that happen with government.
Yeah.
So in my first book, I cover the ills of socialized medicine in much more detail. And the fact is that whenever you have government touching things, and when you take decisions out of the hands of people who know about medicine and out of their hands into the hands of people who know about being a bureaucrat or getting elected, what you have is the wrong people making decisions.
Well, we have examples of that definitely here in New York State.
Oh my God, yes.
Where
I'm from New York State.
Oh, you are.
I grew up in Buffalo. I mean, I lived in Buffalo until a couple of years ago. Buffalo, by the way, the city of Buffalo here, that's a great example. Here's a nutshell.
Well, if I could I interrupt you just for a second, Paul, just for a second? I just want to tell you, thank God for socialism, because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan.
And they're building a brand new stadium.
We're all collectively, as New Yorkers, building a beautiful new stadium.
If you're not a Bills fan, you should be now.
For Bills fans to enjoy. Go socialism.
Isn't that amazing? $1 billion a year. I mean, each team is $1 billion a year operation.
Yeah.
The NFL are a bunch of welfare queens. All the sports are a bunch of welfare queens.
Yeah.
These people, they have every opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet. Yeah, and what's happening? It's a great example. What's happening with this money? Oh, we'll take your money to cure the sick. Nobody will ever go hungry. Everybody will be able to read. And instead, what do? They give these this place that they don't need a law. These people can make their own. They can make a new stadium for every game of the season if they need to.
It is true. But as for programs to help people who are hungry or people who are homeless, the thing about New York is there's no reason for anyone to be out on the street, living out on the street. There are so many social programs to help them, but you're dealing with mental illness and drug abuse where in most cases, these people don't want to come in. They want to live out on, I guess you'd call it off the grid or whatever they're living. So you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped.
Well, the fact is, freedom to choose is the freedom to choose poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's life is their own property, a person's greatest personal property is themselves. And when it comes to abortion, you have the slippery issue of the other life, and I don't really. My only stance on that is leave it up to the states, and I don't give a damn what the states do, but it should not be, because you're just measuring where taking the temperature of the people at a given time, and at what point is it murder?
How do you feel? How do you feel about what is going on with Doge and with Donald Trump and Elon Musk right now?
Sure. So it's again, it sounds good on the surface. We're going to go in and we're going to take away the inefficient programs. But what's the first thing they did? They created a new bureau. The great Milton Friedman saying, there's nothing so permanent as a temporary government program. By the way, Social Security was temporary. For the temporary government program that Frank Roosevelt said he knew for certain. He said it's wrong for us to impose a deficit on the people of 1980 for this program today. But he's a power-hungry zealot. He said, quote, with those taxes in there, no damn politician could ever scrap my Social Security program, end quote. He knew for sure it was a scam. And they cracked into it early, by the way, to try to win an election, a tradition which was followed up on by several presidents, including Republicans. I'm not running for office. But
I hear that.
This is the way it is.
I would say this. What I do find ironic about, and Andrew, it's you. What I do find ironic about how we're going in, and President Trump is going in, and we're going to slash all of this thievery and corruption that's going on, and eliminate all of these jobs and these government programs. Meanwhile, he's flying off to the Super Bowl. He appears at the Super Bowl. And then a week later, or was it a week later, the Daytona 500. So if we're in that bad of shape and you're trying to save all of this money, why would you spend thousands or even millions of dollars on the security to put the president in an arena? Why would you do that? If you really want to save money, you wouldn't be flying around to the Daytona 500. Personally,
amen.
And Andrew, you can't argue with that point, right? If you're because I would rather the president decide to not go to the Daytona 500 and save 500 jobs. That would be the real Daytona 500, wouldn't it?
You know what? They talk about cutting the spending, but they never talk about reducing the total tax burden.
Right,
the total tax burden in this country. Listen, I'll tell you. Here's some other nutshell points you can know about the U.S.
All right, then Andrew has a question here. He's mad at me about the previous point I made. He's staring at me right now. I'm not going to look at him because I don't want to make eye contact.
burden as a percentage of the national income. Okay, the percentage of GDP for the until the 1930s was 10% of the GDP. Occasionally 15%, except for war. The Great Failure of Socialism, the New Deal, that doubled up to 30%. Then, during the Great Failure of Socialism Part 2, the Great Society and the ever-expanding welfare state, that swelled again to 35 and 40%. By the turn of the century, it was touching 45%. That's federal, state, and local combined. Since then, it's come down to like the high 30s. But the fact is, the modern definition, the working definition of slavery is more than half of what a person takes. If it's not their own, they are a slave. As a nation, we are perilously close to being enslaved.
Okay, I want to. I'm almost out of time, Paul Dayton, but I am interestingly enjoying this conversation. Here is Andrew.
Me too.
Here is Andrew with a question.
So, Paul, I guess what I would ask you, you say you're a man of no opinions, and
he has a lot of opinions.
Yeah, right. Well, he's basing them on fact.
Just your opinion alone on FDR is proof of that, I think.
Yeah, right.
But anyway,
would you describe yourself as a libertarian?
My answer is no. I leave that up to other people. People call me all kinds of names. They call me a conservative. They call me a libertarian. They call me an economist. They call me a financial expert. I leave that up to other people. I think liberty comes first. I'm not compromised. Here's the problem. People call you a libertarian, and they have a preconceived list in their head of all these shackles and chains. Well, therefore, you want A, B, C, D, F. You're like, whoa.
Right, don't put me in a box. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Right. Listen to me. I just want to ask you, because there are people that are going to say, this guy's a kook. How do you respond to that when you're trying so passionately to help people with your message? How does it make you feel, and how do you respond when people disparage you like that?
When I talk about the intellectual lower class, and I use it's a matter of attitude as opposed to aptitude, and I use psychologists, PhDs, if you like that kind of a thing, and I use that's a whole chapter in the book about that.
All right.
People who are into obstinate sophistry. I speak the language of evidence. An educated mind permits the evidence to dictate their conclusions. People who sit there and they repeat phrases, they repeat magic words, they put on their red ruby slippers, tap their heels, say, I identify as, and they try to turn fiction into fact and fact into fiction. You are not an adult. You are an inferior race of people.
I do enjoy the Mondays and Tuesdays, because Mondays and Tuesdays are days when people who watch the Sunday programs begin to repeat the catchphrases that politicians have landed on the Sunday morning programs. Now, this is Democrats and Republicans. Like parrots, we walk out of there after watching the Sunday morning programs and start repeating those phrases as if we just came up with it, when in reality, you're helping contribute to the message of your own political party, both sides.
It's vapid regurgitation. A great example of this intellectual lower class and how I don't care about any of the politicians.
Yeah.
I care about the country, but not, I'm not beholden to any of these people.
We'll do this. Go ahead. We're going to do this. We can do this again, but I am running out of time. I would love to have you come back on another time, though.
I would love it. I don't want to make you stay long. Thanks for having me. PaulDayton.us.
PaulDayton.us. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, and get the book. When you're done reading it, you can use it as a weapon, Paul.
He's successfully
700 miles to get your girlfriend.
He's successfully pissed everybody off and made everybody happy this morning.
Ex-girlfriend. That is the crazy thing. He has gone after all parties here this morning. There's nobody left untouched. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Have a great day. I'm really so glad we did that. Mike's comment, though, is, let's see, I just want to see what he is. This guy is a kook. This is Rick that is saying this. I told you, Paul, that's what they would call you, as a kook. How do you respond? Some people call him conservative, says Mike. Some people call him libertarian, says Mike. And some people call him AI, all honors to Paul Simon. And some people call him Al. You can call me Al. Let me break after that. Holy moly in the morning. Paul Dayton. That is something. The book is called?
It is called Socialism, the Gift That Keeps on Taking.
All right. Maybe we'll have him back. Let me break. Davey, we're looking for caller number Watt for Habaika's free money question of the day. This morning it is worth $225.
Caller 6.
Caller number 6. Number 6. 315-736-0186. Caller 6. We'll do it next from Habaika and WIBX.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
A Mohawk Valley tradition returns on Friday, March 7th, when the WIBX Heart Radiothon goes live from Utica University. Doctors from Radiothon sponsor Slocum Dixon Medical Group will share ways we can stay healthy. We'll hear from treadmill challengers as they face off against each other, and Red Cap ambassadors to America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk will remind us why we support the American Heart Association. Of course, we'll have special incentives to thank you for your donations. Be sure and tune in.
Good morning, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 741. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now, we're at 0 under mostly clear skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Some of the Marcy Correctional Facility employees accused of being involved in the beating death of an inmate are expected to be in court today. The individuals are scheduled to be arraigned after Robert Brooks Jr. was punched and kicked while he was at the prison's infirmary in December. Brooks was taken to a nearby hospital but later passed away, and his death was ruled a homicide. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick is the special prosecutor in the case after the state's AG's office recused itself. There's a brand new development in the ongoing battle to see who's going to pay, speaking of Paul Dayton's points, to finish construction of an aquarium in Syracuse. The Onondaga County Legislature says it will be up to the county executive, Ryan McMahon, to get any remaining funds from private donors. The legislature authorized $85 million towards the project back in 2022, but its chairman says taxpayers won't be paying any more than they already have. The aquarium is scheduled to be open in 2026. Wegmans is joining the list of supermarket chains limiting the number of eggs customers can purchase. The company's website says people can only buy up to 10 cartons of a dozen eggs or 18-count eggs with a maximum of 180. Why are you buying 180 eggs?
Well, you could be making like cakes for a living.
Well, okay, yeah, but there's certain stores for that, right? I mean, you can call your rep that.
You buy commercially.
Like you're going to go to Wegmans or Aldi and buy 100 eggs, 120 eggs?
Have you seen people with toilet paper when they feel like there's going to be a...
Unbelievable.
They come out with shopping carts full.
Oh, my God.
You think they're going to use all that toilet paper?
No, not in this century.
That's a lot of eggs.
You need to go to the doctor if that's the case.
You're going to need the toilet paper after all those eggs.
National retailers and supermarkets are putting restrictions on egg purchases because of a shortage caused by an avian flu outbreak. Egg prices have nearly doubled in the last year, from $2.52 last February to $4.95 last month. And Nike and Skims are partnering to create a new clothing line for women. Media personality Kim Kardashian is one of Skims' co-founders and its chief creative officer. A Nike spokesperson said the collection will include apparel, footwear, and accessories, which is launching this spring, and an international launch for next year. The partnership was created to compete with other popular clothing brands like Lululemon. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time coming up on 7:44. Here's your forecast.
Bitter cold start to our Thursday, and even a few snow showers and flurries this afternoon. Not looking for much of the wave accumulation, and after our frigid start, we'll get up to 20 later. Still below normal, but a little bit better with that breeze backing off. High single digits to low teens tonight. Maybe some snow showers. Friday, snow showers around upper teens. A little bit better as we go near 30 over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, we're at 1 degree under clear skies. Just got a picture from Dave Olney, Chief Dave Olney of the Boonville Police Department. 13 below in Boonville this morning. It is 7:44.
Okay, it is time now for our free money question of the day from the Hobeika law firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. Davey, are we ready in there? You look like you're ready to go. We do have a contestant.
Yeah.
And that contestant's name is?
Bob from Whitesboro.
Bob in Whitesboro, and he's on the line right now. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
You doing all right?
Doing all right. Nice and cold, and the roads are bare.
We like
they are finally.
We might even get some sunshine today, and then by the weekend, 30s. Actually, the sun's shining right now, looking pretty good out there. All right, this is a question that should, I hope, land you $225. Are you ready? From the Hobeika law firm.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. This is your question. One of my favorite cookies. This is from the cookie world.
Ooh,
are you ready?
Yummy.
One of my favorite cookies is just a little bit younger than I am. There's your clue. The Nutter Butter
so good
cookie was created in what year? Ready, go.
1964.
Did you say
54?
You said 54 or 64?
64.
64.
I thought he said 54.
Well, I was born in 64, although I look ancient, I feel. It would have been the year the Mets won the World Series.
Oh, 69.
1969. So, as I said, just a little bit younger than me is the Nutter Butter cookie, which is an awesome cookie. It's one of those you don't need milk for. You just eat it.
You just pop it right in.
Yeah. 1969. Good guess, though. You were 5 years off. We're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun cards, $25 gift card, good at Aquavino, at Taylor and the Cook, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, The Odd, Nexus. Davey's going to hook you up, though, Bob, all right?
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
All right, enjoy the sunshine today. It does feel good to see a little of that. Do you remember the Nutter Butter cookie? It still exists today,
do
of
I
course.
remember? Come on.
The Nutter Butter
I might have to go get some today.
56 years ago in 1969. Well, I must say, do you want me to break or am I good to go until the top?
58:50.
Okay, good.
Keep going.
I must say that the guest, Paul Dayton, was...
I loved it.
I did enjoy his... I know it annoyed some people, but he's very passionate. And when you see the book... The book really is...
We were nervous opening the package when it arrived
We were.
here in studio.
The book is enormous. So if you get a chance to check it out online, feel free.
It's funny, because I'm sure at some point in that interview, somebody out there listening said, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see the point there. But, like, for instance, the monopoly situation, that's what happened in New York, right? They said, Cuomo was like, yeah, it's Spectrum, and that's it. Wasn't there something with...
I don't know.
There was some legislation or some deal that was struck with the state? Because I remember Brindisi was involved, and that's why Spectrum's the only one.
No. That was... This has been long before that. This was long before that. Spectrum, whether it be Spectrum or Time Warner, there was always one. But each local community gets to cut their own deal. Or maybe it's county. I think it's each county. Whatever it is.
Okay.
They cut their own separate deals with... So you may go to one county and Spectrum doesn't have any nude channels. Yes.
Is that right?
Because the county is like, we've decided there'll be none of that here.
Okay, all right.
So each county does, but I'm not sure how we got to the point where we have one cable system. We had one phone system at one time because that was considered under Reagan a monopoly and under deregulation, but I don't know how all of that came together. Maybe you can figure that out. A burglar in Britain was caught in the act by a Home Alone-style bucket trap. These people were so nervous about going to sleep at night, they created their own booby trap. Paul Howell was spooked and tripped over a string tied to a bucket of water, which tipped over and soaked his shoes. He then ended up fleeing the property and was caught a few days later. Here's actual audio of when this went down in this person's home.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
Yeah, there's the kid in the home. That's real. That's actual audio. Plump-looking beaver has been spotted in Chicago, and now the community is trying to find a good name for it. Okay, I'm not even sure why I'm running this story.
A fat beaver?
Yeah. I think we'll skip it. Sharon Osbourne admitted what her biggest mistake as Ozzy's manager was. Here she is telling Billy Corrigan on his podcast what went down.
Do you want to know the biggest mistake I ever made with Ozzy? He got offered to go and read for Pirates of the Caribbean. And I've never said this to anyone. I said no. Now, wouldn't he have been perfect?
He would have been perfect.
I know.
I don't think he would have been as good as Johnny Depp. I think you spared him there.
I interviewed Ozzy Osbourne in like 1997. And we ended up we recorded the interview because he couldn't come on until like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I recorded the interview. Somewhere I have it, but we never aired it.
Is that like Frankie Valli?
No, this was worse. You couldn't understand a word he was saying. Now, how in the world could he narrate a movie?
Oh, he was going to be the narrator.
It was the narrator. Yes, he was.
What narrator was there in Pirates of the Caribbean?
She said that, what does she say here? Where is the story now? Admitted what her biggest mistake was. As his manager, he was managed. Okay, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was to appear.
I think to be Jack Sparrow.
Well, that would be terrible too.
Yeah.
How could you understand him?
I mean, Johnny Depp acted like a drunken pirate. I mean,
He
he would have been the drunken pirate.
But you could still understand.
I thought her biggest mistake would be the whole biting the head off the bat thing. I mean,
did he really do that? I don't think it was a real.
Do you want
bat.
to know the biggest mistake I ever made with Ozzy? He got offered to go and read for Pirates of the Caribbean. And I've never said this to anyone. I said no. Now, wouldn't he have been perfect?
He would have been perfect.
I know.
Yeah, because he did go mainstream shortly thereafter, right?
Yeah, with the whole
With
reality
the TV show. Yeah. Here's Jay and Vernon. Hey, Jay. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. How you guys doing?
Good.
I got to tell you, I was up in Tabor yesterday shoveling my son's roof off. The snow up there, it's a biblical proportion. I mean, the fire whistle went off 7 times in the daytime we're there. Then they had their Fireman's Field Day pavilion barn collapse with people storing boats and campers and all that stuff
Wow.
in there.
So
And,
how much snow was on that roof, Jay?
Well, I'm 6 foot, and it was under my armpits.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And
how do you shovel that when you think about it?
You got to start. You got to do it in layers.
You got to start like at the obviously you start at the edge and you just keep going. And then I was up there and we were there. Me and my son, my grandson, and a friend of mine did it. Of course, I was kind of the ground guy. I'm a little old, but I had 5 people pull up to me and said, "Hey, can you shovel my roof off? I'll give you $500-$600."
Yeah.
I just did one that was a friend of family. I said, I'm not. But people, I mean, it's a daunting task. But the fire whistle went off 5 times in an hour. I mean, it's just people. I don't think. I know you got snow where you live, probably, but you
Not
go
like
up
this.
there,
Not like this.
No,
yeah,
not like that. No.
Oh, the pictures on TV and internet don't do it justice. You see
Yeah.
it with your own eyes. It's like his oil tanks outside. He couldn't even see the oil tank. We had to shovel so you could get a fuel delivery in, and a lot of collapsing. And those people up there, I mean, that's as close as to a natural disaster
Yeah.
as you can get. I see Highmark they topped 300 inches. That's almost 25, 27 feet of snow.
Think about that. That's
It's crazy, and there's never been the opportunity for it to melt, so it compacts.
Well,
and piles
I do
on,
worry when this does melt, and Andrew keeps talking about this. And we have history to show. If you get a quick warm up and rain, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Well, then people that unfortunately can't get their roofs shoveled off. The snow we've been getting is pretty powdery, but you add some thaw and some rain with that, it just makes it that much.
Well,
more
you're already seeing it. I would say you got about, I don't know. For me, yesterday there was about 4 inches of snow for the first level of crust, if you will.
Yeah.
that you had to break through. And then you get down another foot or so, and there's another level. It's different layers depending on.
It is. And you get down, the closer you get to the roof, obviously that's where your ice and pack is.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, Jay, is about the fuel. A lot of fuel, I talked to a fuel company yesterday who said they're having trouble getting to people, and that's how they heat their homes.
Exactly. I mean, I'm here in Vernon, and I shoveled my roof once, and I've snowblowed, obviously several times, but I would say out on my front lawn where it's untouched, maybe 3 feet, maybe, of course, it's hard measuring with the wind and drift.
Yeah, that's about where we are, yeah.
But up there in Taberg, and my sister lives in Camden, it's just Route 69 that runs up through West Rome up to Taberg there. And that road is it's like an Alaskan highway.
Like you're going through a cavern.
Yeah, I mean, but the roads are usually main roads. They can get them kind of. They're just, and I mean, everybody's shoveling their roofs off, and it's. I think in 1966 we had 50 inches in one spell.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to go down in the record books of one of the at least up until
that's the thing.
I
think this because it's lake effect. This is so unique because there are some areas that didn't get much at all.
Right.
Other areas that got a lot, and then you have like what you're talking about, and then all the way in between. You have so many different variations. But
typically the lake effect runs along the north Hill. Over here in the south, in Vernon, Verona, and Madison County, we typically dodge the big storms. But I feel sorry for those people up there. I mean,
that's terrible.
It's like I said, the fire whistle went off 5 times in an hour. Trees down, just collapsing roofs.
Yeah.
And, it's everybody shoveling their roofs off. I mean, and that's a daunting task for anybody, even for young people. I mean, number one, you got the danger involved.
And it can come down while you're on it.
The only good thing, if you do fall, you only got to fall about 4 feet, and you're on the snow.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And there is padding. That is the
and the one thing that people have to be careful of for sure, because I experienced this in 2 different instances. Pulling out of a parking lot in Washington Mills and on Erie Boulevard in Rome yesterday. The snowbanks are high, and you cannot see.
You got to have your car almost 3/4 of the way.
Yeah, you got to creep out.
If anything's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think the trout season opens April 1st. I don't think the trout streams, you won't be able to get to the trout streams till July 1st.
I know. Yeah. All right, Jay, that's I've seen some pictures from up there. If you had the chance to drive through some of those areas, it's just breathtaking when you see the height of the banks.
Those firemen shoveled off their pavilion and their fire thing here about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
But it's still collapsed, and I'm sure if people got classic cars, boats, campers, whatever in there, obviously, I hope they got insurance because that thing's right to the ground.
Yeah. All right, great. Horrible story, Jay. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, but that's
good analysis.
Yes, we
Mother
appreciate
Nature threw us a curveball.
No doubt about it. Jay, thank you.
Enjoy your afternoon, gentlemen.
Yep,
you too.
The same. Wayne this morning saying he shoveled 3 roofs off and he's over it. He's 57 years old, and it's not. I got to tell you, you feel your age. It is, and I'm. There was a certain point last night when I was beginning to make. First of all, there's 2 things. Number 1, there is the can you do this. Number 2 is and I was explaining this to my wife last night because she's like, "Oh, come on, can't be that difficult." I'm like, "I'm telling you, this is crazy." There are 2 elements of this. Number 1, there is the can I do it? Am I going to get so exhausted just walking through this snow that I'm going to, nobody's going to be around, I'll have a heart attack, and that'll be the end of it.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, there is a little element of that. Once you get into your 50s and 60s and think about people in their 70s and 80s and what they're dealing with. The other part of this is, I think, which is the most important part, is, I'm sorry. The other part of this is, I am sorry. The other part of this is the embarrassment. I explained to my wife, I am not going to, I'll do it in the backyard where no one can see me, but if I'm trying to walk across the front of the yard to check the vent for the furnace, Every neighbor's going to be looking at, look at that idiot try to make his way across the snow. And the answer is, I look like an idiot. We have news coming up next.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
It's been 1 month. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, since President Trump returned. And he has signed yet another executive order that Fox's Mark Meredith reports from the White House.
It should certainly appeal to voters who feel the federal government has bending over backwards to help illegal immigrants. Under the order issued overnight, our understanding the government would cut out money to spend encouraging them to get Obamacare, money for assistance programs like food stamps, as well as for the children's health insurance.
And more layoffs are coming as the Trump administration targets probationary federal workers recently hired. Multiple reports have the IRS ready to cut 6,000 jobs. And as DOJ keeps looking to slash more federal spending,
President Trump claims the Department of Government Efficiency, led by billionaire Elon Musk, is saving tens of billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse, and he's considering sending 20% of those savings to American taxpayers. Musk saying he believes it could total $5,000 per taxpayer.
As Fox's Jared Halpern, the FBI is about to get a new director.
This afternoon, the full Senate is expected to confirm FBI nominee Kash Patel. It comes despite pushback from Democrats, some of them listing all the reasons they view Patel as unqualified and not trustworthy for the job.
As Fox's Brooke Singman, Ukraine's foreign minister just met with the special U.S. envoy to his country, saying they talked about a just and lasting peace. The day after President Trump, who blames Ukraine for starting a war that began with Russia's invasion, called Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky
a dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction.
The president may meet this month with Russian leader Vladimir Putin after Tuesday's U.S.-Russia talks on ending the war that Ukraine was left out of in Gaza. That's the moment Hamas handed over 4 coffins to be given to Israel, including the remains of a mother and her 2 young children killed after the 2023 Hamas terror attack that triggered the war, and also as part of a ceasefire that halted it. 6 hostages who are alive will be set free Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
No ruling yet from a federal judge in New York City after a hearing probing the Justice Department's order to have a corruption and bribery case against Mayor Eric Adams dropped.
He told federal judge Dale Ho that he is innocent and has made no deal with President Trump. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais argued the federal charges Adams faces of bribery, fraud, and accepting foreign campaign contributions should be scrapped. Beauvais told the court, quote, the continuation of this prosecution is interfering with national security and immigration enforcement initiatives being carried out by the executive branch. But critics accuse Adams and the president of making a deal, a quid pro quo, Trump dropping the charges in exchange for Adams doing what Trump wants.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is considering removing Mayor Adams from office. And she's also angry at President Trump, who posted on Truth Social, congestion pricing in New York City is dead as his administration revokes federal approval. And he added, long live the king.
New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years. And we are not We sure as hell are not going to start now.
She's vowing to fight in court to keep congestion pricing in place, charging most drivers $9 to enter lower Manhattan. Now, another legal issue. An appeals court has upheld a block on the president's executive order to end what's called birthright citizenship.
All three judges of the Ninth Circuit panel agreed yesterday that Trump's order should continue to be blocked from taking effect while this lawsuit plays out. 4 Democrat-led states arguing that the ban is unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment, as citizenship has been extended to anyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of the immigration status of their parents.
That's Fox's Chanley Painter. On Wall Street, stocks could fall at the opening bell. Dow futures are down more than 100 points. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Dermenio. 2 degrees under mostly clear skies, sunshine. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Some of the Marcy Correctional Facility employees accused of being involved in the beating death of an inmate are expected to be in court today. The individuals are scheduled to be arraigned after Robert Brooks Jr. was punched and kicked while he was at the prison's infirmary in December. Brooks was taken to a nearby hospital, but he later passed away, and his death was ruled a homicide. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick is the special prosecutor in this case after the state attorney general's office recused itself. There's a brand new development in the ongoing battle to see who pays to finish construction of an aquarium in Syracuse. The Onondaga County Legislature says it will be up to County Executive Ryan McMahon to get any remaining funds from private donors. The legislature authorized $85 million towards the project back in 2022, but its chairman says taxpayers will not be paying any more than they already have. The aquarium is scheduled to open in 2026. Wegmans is joining the list of supermarket chains limiting the number of eggs customers can purchase. The company's website says people can only buy up to 10 cartons of a dozen eggs or 18-count eggs with a maximum of 180. National retailers and supermarkets are putting restrictions on egg purchases because of a shortage caused by an avian flu outbreak. Egg prices have nearly doubled in the last year, from $2.52 last February to $4.95 last month. A Utica resident was arrested following an investigation into prison contraband at the Oneida County Correctional Facility. As reported by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to a complaint about contraband on February 17th at the jail. 40-year-old Brent Mowry was arrested yesterday and faces charges of promoting prison contraband, which is a felony. Mowry is currently incarcerated at the Oneida County Correctional Facility, awaiting his arraignment. And California is on the verge of becoming the first state to officially recognize a cryptid, a mysterious creature with little evidence of existence. Assemblymember Chris Rogers has introduced a bill, AB 666, to make Bigfoot or Sasquatch the state's official cryptid. While Rogers' northern district is known for Bigfoot sightings, many believe that Oregon is the true home of the legendary creature. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time, 8:08. Here's your forecast.
Bitter cold start to our Thursday, and even a few snow showers and flurries this afternoon. Not looking for much in the way of accumulation, and after our frigid start, we'll get up to 20 later. Still below normal, but a little bit better with that breeze backing off. High single digits to low teens tonight, maybe some snow showers. Friday, snow showers around upper teens. A little bit better as we go near 30 over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now we're at 2 degrees under sunny skies at 8:08. In sports, the NFL has decided they're spreading the wealth. The league informed its teams Wednesday that the per-team salary cap for 2025 will be between $277.5 million and $281.5 million. The final figure will be determined following further negotiations with the NFL Players Association. This year's increase means the cap will have grown by at least $53 million over the past 2 years, which is largely in part due to new media rights deals. The Knicks appear to be getting healthier for the first time this season. Center Mitchell Robinson was a full practice participant, as well as forward OG Anunoby. Robinson has already been listed as out for tonight's game, however, and Anunoby is questionable. New York is second in the Atlantic Division at 36-18 and will host the Bulls at Madison Square Garden. Nets forward Bojan Bogdanovic is undergoing season-ending foot surgery. ESPN says the team plans to waive him and is finalizing a 10-day contract with former number 7 overall pick Killian Hayes. Brooklyn is tied for third in the Atlantic Division at 20-34 and will host the Cleveland Guardians tonight at Barclays Center. The winner of the inaugural Four Nations face-off will be decided tonight as Team USA is taking on Team Canada in the championship game at TD Garden in Boston. Devils defenseman Brett Pesce has been added to the U.S. roster and as an injury replacement. The NHL returns to action on Saturday. One of the Yankees' top pitching prospects is dealing with another setback. Right-hander Chase Hampton has a flexor strain for the second straight spring. Manager Aaron Boone said Wednesday that Hampton was back in New York undergoing testing for something going on with the UCL. He missed most of last season with a right flexor strain and a groin injury. New York will start Grapefruit League play tomorrow afternoon when they host the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. And the Mets could see a familiar face making his way back to the team. According to Sports Illustrated, Jose Quintana is very interested in a reunion with the Mets and would love to come back. He spent the last 2 seasons with the Mets after agreeing to a $22 million contract in December of 22. The 36-year-old posted a 10-10 record with a 3.75 ERA and 135 strikeouts last year. New York will open Grapefruit League play Saturday when they host the Houston Astros in Port St. Lucie.
I have the greatest device. Thank you to Sheriff Machenil this morning. This will change your world.
Oh, quickly, though, if you want snowshoes, Sierra in New Hartford, which is like the TJ Maxx outdoor store.
Yeah.
Bass Pro may have them, or Runnings in Rome.
Okay, thank you. You're going to need snowshoes.
Yeah.
Listen, this is the Yarbo snowblower / lawnmower / leaf blower.
Is this like the Snow Joe?
No.
Where you're going to be excited about it for about 10 minutes?
The Snow Joe was cheap. This ain't cheap.
Okay.
All right. This is a smart snowblower. You know the smart vacuums that you have in your house? The Roombas.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Roombas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Those have a whole bunch of other problems that are associated with them.
Yeah, if you have a dog that's crapping on your carpet.
Yes, exactly.
That's a problem.
It doesn't detect that.
It does
I'll
not.
just say
Nope,
that.
and it just smears it everywhere.
But this is amazing. This is like, it's the size of, I guess it's the size of a snowblower, but a little smaller, lower profile. And it is a snowblower. You put it outside, and it will snowblow your driveway while you're inside.
Wow. Make sure the kids and the pets are out of there.
That sounds almost too good to be true.
It has obstacle recognition. So if you have a pet or there's something in the way, it'll stop and go around it.
Oh, that's good.
It is a snowblower. It is a lawnmower and a leaf blower.
There you go.
Each attachment is so for
sold
these,
separately.
Sold separately.
Yeah.
The snowblower is $49.99.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, $5,000.
Never mind.
See what I mean? The lawnmower module is $59.99. $6,000. And that would mean if you got all three, is what I'm saying. So if you were to get all three, the blower, the leaf blower, the lawnmower, and the snowblower, it would be $6,999. But
okay,
if you act now for 10 payments of just $699,
but
and that's a big
you're
but.
still sitting in on your couch while all this work is being done outside.
Okay, so here's the plan, Bill. We're going to turn you into an influencer, and we're going to...
Want me to get it?
Yes, and you are going to give a fabulous review about it.
Well, I'd like it for free. Here's the other thing it comes with.
I'm sure.
Mike, smart snowblower, dumb operator. Here's the other thing that it comes with. You can actually, it will detect, you can show it where to go, and it will do your driveway and even your sidewalk.
Huh.
Or it's got like a Nintendo controller, like a two-hand controller.
That's cool.
And you can control it yourself from like your picture window, and
So is
as you're
this
looking
thing
outside.
at least decent looking, or is it ugly as sin?
No, I think it's pretty cool looking, to be honest.
Okay.
I've asked Sheriff Mashel if he's getting one, and I did not get a response because I think that might have been a stupid question, to be honest.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's getting it, but it runs on battery, of course, and it has a complete data center and a physical controller that you can use if you want to actually control it.
All right. I'd be interested.
You
but
will
too
never have to go outside again.
Get out and get your snowblower going.
Come on.
Jeez.
I love it. Okay, I got a break. Coming up, we'll speak with Joe Cardinal, retired NYPD Lieutenant Commander. The 2024 list is out. This is data, sad data, of law enforcement police officers who've been killed in the line of duty for 2024. And it looks like the numbers in 2024 are up. We'll get to that. Brian Haluska is with NYSCOBA, and he's the regional vice president. You know, the strike is going on. This is unauthorized. The union does not support strikes. However, this is what the governor is calling an illegal strike and has called in the National Guard. We'll get into that. They do want people to know this is really sounding the alert that this is dangerous. These prisons right now are very dangerous.
Yeah.
And then John Decker, the chief White House correspondent, with great TV coming up later on in the hour.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
This is actual footage of Bill Keeler doing a radio show on WIBX. Sadly, his career was found in a heavily wooded area. If you know the person or persons who ended the radio career of Bill Keeler, please tell them thanks on behalf of the people of Central New York.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Alrighty, it's the sun shining. And yes, it's true. We're looking at some areas that have about 3 feet of snow on the ground. Other areas looking at what? What are we saying? 11 feet of snow. Can you imagine?
Disgusting.
11 feet of snow or 7 feet of snow that you're shoveling through. It is just mind-blowing. Did we lose him, Andrew? Davey? We had him, we lost him, we didn't. It really is quite unbelievable. But some reprieve today. And if you've been looking...
You can call it that. With 0 degrees,
it's going to be cold.
Temperatures.
It's going to be cold. However, sunshine, and by the weekend, we're going to be looking at temperatures up to about 30.
I think this is going to be the first partly sunny weekend since December.
Are we looking at sunshine this weekend?
Yeah, partly sunny conditions for Saturday and possibly Sunday, but no snow.
Yeah, there's really just... well, I'm looking at here. It says cloudy, but you're right, no snow. 32 Saturday, 31 Sunday. But here's the very interesting thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Monday and Tuesday, 40 degrees each day with rain and snow shower mix.
Yuck.
So that could be problematic, especially if you have snow on your roof.
Yeah.
That could be a real problem.
So this weekend is your weekend to clear off your roof, if you can.
I guess it is, yeah. 2024 was a deadly year when it comes to law enforcement. The numbers, they say, increased from 25% from 2023, and 147 federal, state, county, municipal, military, tribal police officers died in the line of duty. Former NYPD retired Lieutenant Commander Joe Cardinale on the line right now to talk about that. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How you doing?
Good. So, why do you think we're dealing with an increase in this? I just gave the numbers this year.
Yeah,
obviously,
there's a lot.
One person lost. One person lost in the line of duty is terrible, but the number 147 is terrible as well.
Yeah, it's actually up. It's actually 162, and a lot goes into the statistics with this. And one of the stats that people aren't aware of is the 9/11 related deaths is still calculated each year. So in 23 we had 31 of those, and in 24 we had 23. You know, and another stat that people aren't aware of, and I consider them just as much as the force as anybody, is the canine deaths as well. You know, we had 20 canines lost as well. So it's that could very well be a police officer instead of the canine, and most often it's both the handler and the canine. But a lot goes into this.
And if I could just say, we lost when there was a shooting here in a nearby community, Herkimer, and but it was probably about 10 years ago, and lost a canine, and also they used a robot to go in. And ultimately, the man was stopped. But it shows you what the new technologies can do to save the life of a police officer. It's something we really should be thinking about and consider.
Yeah, they're employing a lot of the robots. They're employing deploying drones as well.
Yeah.
But you can't. It's such a fluid situation. And here's something that's ever increasing across the United States, and that is. As soon as the officers arrive at a scene, they're open. It's an ambush. They're open fire on, and that's increasing across this country. And that's something that has to be dealt with. And that I attribute to the total disregard for law enforcement by not only the already players we have here, but by gangs from outside our country that are here now, inside our communities. And they never had any respect for law enforcement to begin with. So to do it in a liberal country like America, it's a no-brainer for them.
Yeah.
The big incident that happened here locally last year was out in the Syracuse area, where we lost a Syracuse police officer and an Onondaga County Sheriff's lieutenant, tragically. And that was exactly the situation that you were talking about, Joe. They showed up to a scene and were met with unexpected gunfire, and unfortunately they lost their lives. It was tragic.
It is, and that wall. I know everybody should really make a trip to D.C. and see the names that are added every year. And we have something in New York State that I've spoken about many times before. And under Governor Cuomo then and Lieutenant Governor Hochul, now Governor Hochul, we have released 43 convicted cop killers to date. Just another one about 2 weeks ago. 43 cop killers have been released. And that's just a statement that should not be made. And it's a parole board that just does not see the pleas of the families to keep them incarcerated. The families have a life sentence 10 times over in some of these families. And these criminals are put back on the street. And it's ridiculous. And it seems to be the same thing with when you have a DA like Bragg in New York City, that you don't get the 1, 2, 3 punch you need. Law enforcement, the DA, and then the judges to get the proper justice served. You don't have that any longer. It's stymied at the DA level, and it never goes beyond that. And that's another thing that contributes to what's happening, across the country.
One of we're dealing with it right now with the prison system, and which is why we're looking at a strike. Obviously, a terrible occurrence that happened here and actually today, I believe 7 corrections officers are going to be appearing in court, facing charges that could be as high as murder charges, where because of the death of an inmate. Terrible situation. However, I do think that a lot of these new regulations that have become lax and really are in the favor of the inmates have lent to this problem. It's causing chaos. The corrections officers say they have no way of being able to punish someone for doing something wrong, and it really kind of gives the inmates a confidence. Then you have this hatred between both sides, and it's just a mess. Why is it we pass all of these regulations without considering sitting down and really talking to the people on the ground? To me, that would make all the sense in the world.
Well, because you have common sense. Bail reform and everything else that goes into law enforcement and anything that has to do with the correctional facilities or anything, they never take into account bringing in the unions to say, listen, what are your members seeing and hearing what it's like to be a cop or a corrections officer? Yeah. No matter what, it should never get to the level it did with those 7 corrections officers. No, it never should get to that level. Yeah. But you're right, the frustration, as cops, we're not allowed to have a bad day. You have something going on at home, you have an illness at home, and you go to work. You're not supposed to carry that to work, but yet we're human beings. And sometimes a cop says something wrong, and they say something on a body cam, and they lose their jobs or they're prosecuted. It's ridiculous. Get back to the human side of everything, the common sense side of everything. Weed out who has to be weeded out, and put law enforcement as the first line of defense again. Yeah. And corrections has a tough job. They really do have a tough job, and they put up with a lot of crap inside the jails. Yeah. And you're right. They should take that into consideration, but it should never rise to the level that it did.
Do you agree, though, that police officers should be held to a higher standard? I mean, they have to be, right?
They have to be, because you take an oath, all right? We're held to a higher standard no matter what, but the practicality of policing today has changed. Police are no longer proactive. They're just reactive. And we're reactive to situations that go on, something in New York City, something that happened in California. It's ridiculous. We need to be generic to our state and what's happening on a daily basis of what policing is. Putting on the uniform is tough enough, but when you put it on with a political aspect behind it, it makes it 10 times harder.
So I'm looking at the where the data came from in regards to the increases. Anytime you hear increases of 25%, I always like to dig a little deeper, because you don't know what that really means. It is very interesting, though. In 2023, there were 118 police officers killed in the line of duty. This year, you say the number is what? I had 147 here, but you
162,
say 162. But then when you
162.
But if you really look at 23 and 24, they're both lower than 22, which was 266 officers killed. And then I don't know what happened in 2021, but it was a huge spike. There were 660 police officers killed in the line of duty in 2021.
That was the year of George Floyd.
Oh, that was year.
And that's, you're right. But here's the thing. People are not what they're not reporting is how many police officers are assaulted every year.
Right.
The assaults on police officers are through the roof across the country. And it's because criminals are emboldened to do what they want to do. And we compound that with the unknown of these gangs, TDA and MS-13, who in their own countries, as I said, just have a total disregard as it is. And yet they carry it to the United States. And this is what's happening. There is a total disregard on that level. When you start getting back to keeping the criminals in jail, the ones that have to be in jail, I'm not talking. Bail reform is a necessity to a degree, but not in the form we have it in New York State. It's ridiculous. All right, you need enough fentanyl to kill people 2 times over, enough people that to fill giant stadiums in order to request bail. That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
And it's common sense, it's common sense, and we all pay the price for that.
Another problem we've had here is raise the age. So now instead of 25-year-olds going around with guns, you have 15-year-olds,
13-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
Yeah, it's just really terrible.
Yep, and it needs to be addressed. And I'll tell you right now, I don't see it changing. What's going to happen, I can predict this. I'll tell you right now, with the powers that be that control the state in the assembly from New York City, all right, they dictate everything that goes across, and everybody upstate should really be aware of this.
Well, we are.
That faction, and that faction in New York City controls everything, and they will not change it. And Governor Hochul is, beholden to them, all right? And she will do things in dribs and drabs for bail reform instead of doing a complete overhaul and doing what you said. Bring in the people that make the difference with this, that say, listen, we have to do it this way, and come to an agreement that everybody's on board, the DAs and everybody. But she's not going to do it drastically. She's going to do a little bit here and there as it makes the newspapers.
I do want to ask you, unrelated, you've been very critical of New York City Mayor Eric Adams, despite the fact that he was a police officer. And now he's right in the middle of all of this controversy. Where do you stand on Eric Adams now?
You know what? He opened up Pandora's box when he started making New York City a sanctuary city. And then he didn't realize what he was getting into. And when he did that, he really created a bad situation. But then he realized, I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
And once he spoke out against the Biden administration, that's when they came down on him. Everything was fine and dandy. That's why I don't like the weaponization of it. If you're going to go after somebody with a bona fide a case. So if you're going to nitpick on him for things that de Blasio and everybody else did, all right, then you really have to look at what you're doing. All right. And now all of a sudden, Hochul's going to weigh in on this and possibly remove him. Where the hell is she removing DA Bragg? She should have removed him years ago, but she won't. It's whatever serves their party, and I don't like that.
They do say, I was in New York over the weekend. By the way, we were at the Lexington subway station, Lexington Street, Lexington Avenue, right? Subway station. There was sometime after we were there was some guy with a knife just started. Now, it may have been an attack on someone they knew. It may have been gang related, but still, we were right there during that, right after that. Terrible. And then in watching the New York media, they really feel, this is some of the reporting that I saw, is that maybe some of the crimes committed by Eric Adams was more cover-up and getting rid of the problem, trying to get rid of the problem, than it was actually the initial crime. Are you hearing that same thing?
No, I'm seeing the same thing. They constantly put things like Mayor Adams up there as the veneer of what's going on. And it's the same thing she does in the subway. And this is Governor Hochul. She'll put the National Guard, National Guard over there, and then 5 stops away, somebody's getting stabbed. It's getting the officers on the trains, getting the officers to become proactive again, that are going to, and putting the mentally ill in the facilities.
Yep.
Instead of in the subway systems, all right? And then you'll see things start changing, but nobody wants to address the big elephant in the room, all right? And that's taking the handcuffs off the police and letting them become proactive again. It's basic policing.
Yeah.
And that's what you need right now. You need street crime out there taking these guns off the street, but nobody, and this is once again the city council and the politicians from the city dictating policy across New York State.
They certainly don't understand upstate, I'll tell you that.
No.
And I think you know that, Joe. All right, Joe, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Anytime, my friend. You take care.
Have a great day. Joe Cardinale, he's former retired NYPD Lieutenant Commander.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's stabbing or slashing. They're just running around. Now, it could have been gang related. I have no idea, but there's enough stuff that is happening. It's mental illness. They're just walking up to people and cutting them or trying to push them into the subway. However, what is unique about New York is there are so many people. When an incident like that happens, really almost no one. You think of the percentage of people who actually witnessed it is so small. It's there's just so many people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Got a break, and coming up we'll speak with Brian with Niscoba. And there is a strike that is underway. It is not sanctioned by the union. However, this should be paid attention to by New York State officials. The COs are coming out saying it is we're at a breaking point right now. It is dangerous for everyone involved. We'll talk to Brian Haluska coming up in just a second. Stand by.
Hi, I'm Jim Bono, your guide to all things winter happening right here in Herkimer County. Looking for adventure? Hit the slopes at Macaulay Mountain. Explore hundreds of miles of scenic, well-groomed snowmobile trails. Or try ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. And did you know that Herkimer County has a website where you can find all the events happening around town?
Herkimer County, where history, commerce, and beauty collide. It's all happening here this winter. Visit herkimercountyny.gov and make your winter unforgettable.
Think you know history? Think again. Journey through time and explore rare one-of-a-kind artifacts that span from the Revolutionary War to present day. Don't just read about history, experience it at Sticks and Stones Museum in West Winfield. Open Sunday 10 to 3.
This is Anthony Constantino, CEO of Sticker Mule. I'm a proud Trump supporter, running for Congress for the seat being vacated by Elise Stefanik. I built a successful internet company with nearly 1,000 people in upstate New York. However, much of upstate New York suffers from lack of access to high-speed internet that's necessary to build great companies and enable high-paying remote jobs. In fact, much of our district lacks access to strong, dependable cell phone service too. Of course, we must have both for public safety and to grow the economy. When elected to Congress, I will work quickly with President Trump to fix this problem. With high-speed internet, dependable cell service, and by renewing President Trump's tax cuts, both for businesses and individuals, we will create jobs and return economic prosperity to upstate New York. Follow me, Anthony Constantino, on Facebook today to learn more about my plans to make New York great again. I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time, 8:37. I'm Andrew Dominio. Just a few headlines. We are reporting this morning some of the staff at Marcy Correctional Facility involved in the death, allegedly, of Robert Brooks Jr. will be appearing in court today. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick, the special prosecutor in that case, after the Attorney General's office recused itself. Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon is going to be on the hook for getting the remainder of funding needed to finish the aquarium that is slated to open in Syracuse in 2026. The egg shortage continues as one supermarket chain allowing only 100 to 180 eggs per purchase. And much more stories coming up at the top of the hour on WIBX. Right now, we've got your weather forecast from Ray Stajic and the Weather Channel.
Bitter cold start to our Thursday, and even a few snow showers and flurries this afternoon. Not looking for much in the way of accumulation, and after our frigid start, we'll get up to 20 later. Still below normal, but a little bit better with that breeze backing off. High single digits to low teens tonight, maybe some snow showers. Friday, snow showers around upper teens. A little bit better as we go near 30 over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's 2 degrees under mostly clear skies at 8:38.
All right, let me take Lucia, who's been waiting for a while. Can I do that? And then we'll break.
Yes.
And then we'll speak with Brian Luska, the Niscoba Region Vice President. And Lucia, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. I just wanted to tell you, I don't know if you know, that Barack Obama is coming here April 3rd.
I did not know that. I'm just kidding.
Sorry?
I heard about it. Yeah, I heard about it. Yes.
Yeah,
he's coming
you've heard about
to
it?
Hamilton College, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Are you going, Bill?
I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be hard to get tickets. Are you going, Lucia?
Yeah, I will, for sure.
And, you could, I got to tell you, you have an amazing talent and an amazing history of being able to get up to these people and, get a picture taken.
You got to be careful.
Ask your own question.
I don't like my pictures taken. I run away from that.
Well, but I'm just saying, Lucy, that you're good at it. You're good at it.
Well, I met Carter, President Carter. When Carter came to the college, okay, and Aretha Franklin, I have the stories to die for.
Mm-hmm.
So when Carter came,
who came?
I went.
Welcome
Jimmy
back,
Carter.
Oh, Jimmy Carter. Welcome back.
The president Carter.
Yes.
When he came, I went, and then I went to say hello to the president of Hamilton College, Jim Tobin, one of the best in the world, and his wife.
Yeah.
So next to him was sitting there was the ambassador for Carter. So I went to Beverly and I said, Beverly, the wife of the president of the college, you see your cousin? And she said, no, this is Ambassador so-and-so. Okay. Nice to meet you. I shook his hand, tight. And the day after he said to Beverly, she told me and I ran away, because it was about to start.
Yeah.
And he said to her, who is the woman? Beverly called me in the morning and let me know. I don't know. It's just so easy.
It is, yeah.
I think
Obama will love you. I think he's going to love you.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
He might shake your hand longer than Paseni did.
Mm-hmm. You got to ask him about, what's her name there? This whole rumor that he and his wife are not together,
right?
Which there's really no evidence except it landed. The question landed on a talk show with Jennifer Aniston. So.
It could be garbage, right? It could be just, several
could be,
stuff and stuff.
I think they're probably.
Yeah.
Well, they posted very nice
Yeah.
Valentine's Day social media posts.
Yeah,
so.
they did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to rectify something.
Okay.
Somebody told me
Quickly, and I have to break.
Angel said the first I got the autograph from Sheryl Crow, and then they told her off. No. She apologized to me. And then she gave me what we wanted, and I brought you and Brad and my daughter the autograph.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was mistaken.
Andrew, I want a sincere apology.
Lucy.
No.
He should.
I'm the epitome of sincerity.
He should.
Andrew, that's not necessary. I'm just stating what happened. You know what I
Lucy
mean?
knows when I was sacristan of Our Lady of Lourdes.
That's right.
I was a top-notch individual, so she knows.
Since then, you've gone downhill, but
I
all right.
liked him so much. He was always really kind, very handsome boy, and very, very nice. Always.
Well, that's Andrew.
Well, I appreciate you.
He was.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Ciao.
Coming up, Brian Luska with Nyskoba. We'll talk about this prison issue. He sees it firsthand. It is coming right up.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Puffy, Purple, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, and more. Take 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. No credit check payment plans available as well. Check out our new store in Auburn and our new staff in Oswego. Go to mattressexpressny.com. If you're considering a bed where you can pick a number on each side and make it soft or firm, compare to the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort only at Mattress Express. Compare price, compare features, and compare warranty. A 25-year industry-leading warranty with 45 individual settings on each side. Then 5 years, no interest, no money down for qualified buyers, and then you choose from a list of luxury rewards. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Letterman was at the SNL 15
Yeah, he was
years
kind of like in the background.
But
you could recognize the beard very
They did make a joke about his looks that I thought were kind of fun. It was a funny joke. I don't know what's up with the beard. He just was never able to grow a beard, and now he's able to, and he just does. He looks like a mountain man. Coming up, John Decker with Gray TV. Right now, Brian Luska is the Niscoba Central Region Vice President, and he's on the line right now. Brian, tough times in the New York State prison system, and of course we're looking at these strikes. National Guard coming in to fill those spots, but the notice that's out there that we're hearing from corrections officers is things are more dangerous than ever for everybody involved. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
I've been on the show many a times echoing my members' concerns, and it just continually fell on deaf ears up to date.
And now here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. What is the answer? Do you have any hope that maybe the governor will say, maybe now it's time, let's sit down with everyone involved and let's figure out really what's going on here?
That'd be the smart thing to do. I know there's a mediator that's been hired, and that's being moved very quickly. Talks maybe even today. Everybody coming to the table, the union, the commissioner, and the governor.
Obviously, the union does not endorse these strikes, but
no,
clearly,
by law, we have to denounce the strike. It's a violation of Taylor law.
Yep. But at the same time, the fact that they exist right now is a clear indication that we have a problem. What happened in Marcy?
Yeah.
I really believe that a lot of these rule changes and it causes an additional stress on and it just it's a domino effect, which has to play a role in where we are right now and what happened then in Marcy. Something has to be done.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about the drugs in the facilities, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about the violence in the facilities, and that's stuff that could be done. That's policy change. That's stuff that can be done to make a safer work environment for my members. That's also going to help recruitment and retention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You became a correction officer because your brother, your uncle, your buddy said, listen, it's prison, right? Not the most glamorous place in the world, but listen, good pay, you get benefits, you get a retirement out of it, right? We that's how we recruited, and that's gone now because they've stolen the work-life balance away from these members.
Yeah, well, the overtime is out of control.
24-hour shifts is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we're told that if I just heard from Donna, if a CO says, I can't do this, they're locked in. They have no choice. They have to do it.
Yeah. Right now?
Yes.
You're saying, yeah. They're working 12-hour shifts right now. They're allowed to leave. The 12 on, 12 off. Some jails are holding 24 hours. we're in tough times right now.
Yeah.
Two things, Brian. One, obviously you have to denounce the strike per the agreement, but I have to imagine you're going to be getting into a territory soon where Docs is requiring its employees to do things that maybe aren't in the existing contract. That's one, or it's going to get to that point. And two, it's got to be bad that we're now hearing publicly from members of your union and employees of Docs that are coming out publicly against and risking their jobs against the contract to speak out about this stuff.
Yeah. We've done everything as a union, and we've went down every single legal avenue that we have. We've engaged lawmakers. We've obviously engaged the department. We've engaged the governor's people. And we get we understand, we hear you, we appreciate the job you do, but that's not fixing anything.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's not fixing anything.
Brian, I've been here for going on, believe it or not, 14 years. And during this time, my time here, you and I have spoken, it seems, about every 6 months or every 3 to 6 months over this course of 10 to 14 years. And it's the same thing over and over, and nothing has been done. Now it seems like we are reaching a peak where they're going to want everything done. And my fear is that you get these legislators downstate who really don't have any idea what's going on. They won't listen to people on the ground. And I feel like they're going to pass all of these new rules that's just going to make it worse.
That's right now. The legislative session, the appetite is to push their democratic socialist agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
The reality is people are in there for a reason. And if, it's like anything else, you can really take this right back to a parent. So the parent who is strong on discipline, obviously they are supportive of their children. It's not a bad situation, but being firm, you have a far better situation. When your kids go somewhere else, they're well behaved. They know the difference between right and wrong. They know consequences. I don't know that the and you mentioned structure. I don't know that structure is that much different than what you're asking for in the prison system.
It's no different. All we're asking for is for an internal disciplinary system that holds people accountable, holds these inmates accountable, right? They come to prison because they can't follow the rules in society, right?
Right.
Now they come to jail and they still can't follow the rules of society, but now here's the thing, there's no deterrent.
Right.
So you're creating an environment in the facilities exactly from where they came from. So where's the rehabilitation here? It's not.
Yeah. And also, it must be something to think about, too. If you're there and you're facing a life sentence, what do you have to lose?
There's no punishment anymore.
Other than a punishment that makes your life inconvenient. And how do you control that?
So, I mean, obviously you have inmates that regardless of what you have for a disciplinary system, you can have the toughest disciplinary system in the world. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? Them individuals exist. But even them lifers, I mean, with the sentences that they could get for internal, even though they're a lifer, they didn't want to risk it because it ruins the routine of their day-to-day process.
Yep.
And it kept your guy that just wanted to that messed up, came to prison. He wants to just do his time and take off and never turn back around again. He has no choice but to join the chaos now.
All right. We'll keep this going. Keep an eye on what happens today. Brian, we appreciate your update. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, Brian, thanks.
Luska with Nyskoba. All right, quick break, and John Decker is coming up next to WIBX.
Are you a CDPAP home care user or caregiver? Now's the time to switch to PPL and ensure a smooth transition. It's fast and easy. Over the phone, online, at an in-person or virtual session, or with a CD PAP facilitator. Call PPL at 833-247-5346. That's 833-247-5346. Visit pplfirst.com/CDPAP. Register today. A message from the New York State Health Department.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Steve Ponte Mazda's New Year New Mazda sale is continuing. They've increased their inventory with over 150 new Mazdas available. Love the vehicle. Love the Mazda. You can enjoy 0.9% APR financing right now on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, 70s, 90s. See the dealership for details. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that is, and this is true, I deal with it every time I'm there, customer satisfaction, #1 in the country. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. John Decker is the chief White House correspondent with Gray TV. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Bill. Hope you're doing well, having a good week so far.
Lots going on. What do you? I'm going to defer to you. What do you?
What do you want to talk about?
What are you trying?
What do you want to talk about?
Of the multitude of things that you could be talking about right now, what is most on your mind?
Well, what's most on my mind? I'm a car guy, and what's on my mind is this threat of 25% auto tariffs on any car, any automobile manufactured outside the United States. The president indicated he would announced that on April the 2nd, and that would have a major implication on our U.S. economy. And the reason being is because there's 16 million cars and light trucks sold in the U.S. last year. Half of them were imported, so that would certainly impact demand. And then also when you factor in the average price of a new car last year was $48,000. Add on top of that a 25% tariff. You're not talking about a $60,000 car. So that has a major implication on our economy and the global economy as well.
We're just talking about Mazdas. Think of the number of vehicles. We are not in a world like we were in the early 70s when there was this war on foreign made. Today it's become one world, and these vehicles are incredibly popular. But I think now with everything that's going on, even with the tariffs on China, there are parts problems already starting to begin where you can't get parts for these vehicles. And this is, here's your problem, is that many of the parts made for the American-made vehicles are coming from overseas.
Yeah, they're coming from Mexico. They're coming from Canada. That would be implicated because of the threats the president has already said that are on hold right now as it relates to goods coming into our country from Mexico and Canada. And the president has warned of what he calls short-term pain in terms of prices that we may see in the short term. So we'll see how this whole thing works its way out. A year from now, we'll see where the U.S. economy is once these tariffs have taken hold here in the U.S.
I want to ask you, you're an attorney, and you understand very well the Constitution, although interpretation is everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Executive powers If you hear from Democrats today, and now some Republicans, they're saying that President Trump is overstepping that boundary. Where do you stand? What do you think? And what will the Supreme Court do?
Well, it's not black and white. On certain issues, the president does indeed have executive authority. I'll give you an example. The issue regarding Doge, Elon Musk's team, and their work they're doing. There was a challenge. There was a hearing that took place earlier this week based upon a lawsuit filed by 12 Democratic state attorneys general, and those attorneys general lost. The judge in that particular case, Tanya Chutkan, said essentially that there is no irreparable imminent harm by Elon Musk and his team by doing the work that they're doing. But on the other hand, there's the issue of birthright citizenship. That's going to be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. An executive order cannot undo
the Constitution.
It does not have supremacy over federal law.
John, as always, we appreciate it. Great conversation. We'll do it again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much. John Decker, the chief White House correspondent with Great TV. Kilmeade is next. Follow news first, though, coming up at WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
A message to Ukraine. Tone it down. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's from National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. After Ukraine's leader had said that President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space after the president blamed Ukraine for starting a war that began with Russia's invasion.
There's obviously a lot of frustration here.
And Waltz tells Fox this morning the U.S. is frustrated that Ukraine's not willing to make a deal with us, allowing American access to lucrative mineral resources.
And really become a